I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 18, episode number 4008. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my cock, Montgomery. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, it is the random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: the most sinful cities and pooping. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Tig.
Click, clack, drinking and drunk.
All right, here we go. Happy holidays as a woman pulls down her pants mid-flight and pees in the aisle. Meanwhile, a dog drinks a half a bottle of vodka, and the video of him will make you smile. Dog is hammered.
Oh, yeah.
In Oregon, giant inflatable hammer goes tumbling down the street. Family in North Carolina loses its home trying to deep fry some meat. And a Michigan man gives 5 women syphilis of the eyeball. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. Thanksgiving just passed, so food is on everyone's mind. And in case you've been wondering to yourself, man, what's the most expensive hamburger in the world? Well, I have good news. I know the answer. You just have to travel to the Dalton's Diner in the Netherlands and order the Golden Boy Burger. It is not served by Oscar de la Hoya. You'll get a Wagyu beef burger with beluga caviar, white truffles, Iberico ham, king crab, Dom Perignon battered onion rings, and 2 saffron gold leaf buns, all for the low price of $6,000. Now, if that seems steep, how about a $3,300 chicken sandwich? It's not that the actual sandwich costs that much, but that's how much a 77-year-old woman was charged for it when she accidentally brought it into Australia. You see, she forgot she had it in her backpack, and when the flight landed there in the land down under, she went through customs, they discovered it, and she was fined $3,300 for trying to bring it into the worst part is they also threw it away, so she didn't even eat it. Now, that's bad. But for an even worse story, we go to Georgia. A woman there, she ordered a 12-inch Italian sub at her local Subway. Now, normally, that would cost approximately $7.54. But instead, her credit card was charged $7,112.98. But I know what you're thinking to yourself. Simple mistake, right? Wrong. She's been trying to get the charge reversed for a month. But the Subway manager, he refuses to talk to her, and her own credit card company denied her request. So right now, she's on the hook for a $7,100 12-inch long Italian sub from Subway. Eat fresh indeed. Now, these are just some of the stories that we've come across, stories that left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question, and this is how it works. You call us, we'll ask you a question that completes random. And after you share your story, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
To be a part of the big show, the random question, call 206-803-ROCK. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Ah, the satisfying sounds of more sales in your business. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. But you shouldn't have to pay more to scale your business. With Stamps.com, you can import orders from wherever you sell online, find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times, and instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers and stock up on supplies. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, Machalas, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 4008. What a large and in-charge program we have for you. Guaranteed future repeat on this lovely Monday. Hope you had a wonderful holiday there with family and friends. Mm-hmm. Hope they've left. Or you're back home safely. Either way, big show for you today. Exciting return of your guess is as good as mine. Boy, we got some hot-off-the-press statistics here for you today. Our 2 categories just out today from WalletHub.com. We have the most sinful cities in the United States of America.
You know 1 through 10, or are you just going to go 2 through 11?
We're going to do 1
number
through
1.
10. I can tell you what the least sinful city is. Again, it's Pearl City, Hawaii.
That's the least sinful.
Yeah, where apparently nothing happens. But there's a bunch of cities on here that I've never heard of, but the most sinful cities, tried and true places where debauchery happens, more so than not.
Yep.
There's a couple cities on here that I think should be on the list, but they are, in fact, not in the top 10.
Oh, okay.
One of them being my favorite hangover capital of the world. You think that's Las Vegas? It is not. It is Portland, Oregon. For whatever reason, whenever I come back from Portland, I feel horrible.
Because we put it on. It's not Portland's fault. Just whatever they have available,
more strip clubs,
we will do.
More strip clubs per capita than I believe any city in the United States.
There is, but Thrill's right, too. Because you always go, I don't know, you go down there and knock off. Well, you don't have to go crazy every time.
You don't have to.
Yeah, it just kind of finds you. But they had some key categories: anger and hatred.
Wow.
Violent crime, so to speak. Jealousy being fraud and identity theft. Excesses and vices, so drinking, fast food joints, drug overdoses. We have greed, like casinos, gambling disorders, lust as far as adult entertainment, vanity, like tanning salons, plastic surgeons, and laziness. So like the people who don't volunteer, and exercise rates and everything else. So we have the 10 most sinful cities in America. But my favorite category that I found over the break, which states poop the most? So they did a huge survey.
Doing it per capita, I'm guessing, right?
Right. It is the average number of poops per day. Now, the highest rated state comes in at about 2.5 poops a day. Per
per person.
Yes.
Okay,
The lowest
all right.
rated state, it's only 1 poop per day.
Really?
Yes. Now, how did they come up with this list? I'm not sure. It's crapshoot. But either way, look for states
Waiting all day to say.
where you think people eat more than not.
No, just
And
poop
then-
more, man. Because
and
some
they
people
poop more.
eat a lot and don't poop a ton. I think I'm about a 3 pooper a day.
Yeah. Due to state averages having been rounded, some states appear to be tied. So if you're wondering the state where people poop the least, that would be Missouri.
Really?
Yes.
All that barbecue and you're not pooping.
Montana's at 49.
I could see that. That makes sense to me.
Louisiana is at 44.
Are you all that butter
all
and
that
all
food-
that hot
that-
sauce and you're not pooping it out, man?
That is exact. North Carolina is in the 40s. Florida, New York, places where I think, people do throw
they
down with
eat
some
a
food.
lot, man, and the food is good. Wow.
So which states poop the most? Coming up with your guess is as good as mine. Oh, what else do we have for you today? Oh, yeah, we launched Coats for Kids today. We've got 300,000 children in Washington State that live in poverty. And, of course, as the weather gets colder, they need a quality jacket to keep them warm. So that's why, once again, we've teamed up with the Washington State Council of Firefighters, Operation Warm for Coats for Kids. We're going to try to put as many brand new American-made jackets on kids as we can. So $20. Just $20 puts a brand new coat on a child in need. Our goal is to get a coat on 2,500 kids so that their winter is a little bit warmer. And we're hoping that you can help. So if you can donate whatever you can, head to KISW.com as we kick off Coats for Kids, which is an outstanding organization as far as the Washington State Council of Firefighters, what they do. And we're going to help as many kids as we can. So in this time, if you can give $20, give $5, give $10.
Whatever you can give, man.
Yeah, man.
And I will say this, man. We were just lamenting this over the break. Like, the weekend was beautiful. Blue skies, the sun is out. Very un-Seattle-like at this time of the year, but it is freaking cold, man.
That's what you
like,
get
there's
when
a
you no cloud
definite
cover.
difference, right? Like, all right, it's not going to be gloomy, but you can freeze your ass off.
Yeah, so Coats for Kids, please donate what you can now at KISW.com. All as we do every Monday through Friday, lucky you, ho, ho, ho. Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on Odyssey. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free, and we'll see you coming up at 6 o'clock because we've got some props from the holiday weekend on episode number 501. There's all kinds of podcasts there from the podcast, Megacast, Greatest Story Never Told podcast. Our daily podcast is there. We've got a Men's Room music channel soon to be updated.
Oh, that's right.
As soon as we get a list of tunes into Mike, we'll get that back. But either way, right now, I mean, the station sounds great. I listened to it a little bit over the break, and man, there's tons of great tunes on there, all kinds of different genres. And of course, you got your daily podcast. If you happen to miss anything or taking a road trip or whatever, take the Men's Room along for the ride. So download that Odyssey app now at odyssey.com or on your favorite app store. And then search for the Men's Room. And today is the day that we do our random question. Question 206-803-ROCK.
Let's say hello to, hold on, let me minimize this. Hello, Danny. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Danny, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, we've all been eating a little over the holidays, I'm assuming. What would you say is the most expensive meal that you have ever eaten? The most expensive meal.
You didn't necessarily have to pay for it, but it was just expensive.
Yeah, I think the most expensive meal, we might have already talked about this under another context, but a couple years ago during COVID, I wanted to go out and get steak for my birthday, but the only steakhouse that was open was Daniel's Broiler. And so went out there and, I think 3 of us went, and we didn't only get steaks. We got an appetizer, like tuna steaks and stuff. I think it was like $600 for 3 of us, maybe.
Okay, that's not the worst in the world, man. Was it like you and 2 dudes or what?
It was me and my sister and a buddy.
All
Okay.
right. Does that include like a bottle of wine or something as well?
I mean, I think I had, some nice whiskey on the rocks or whatever.
All right, okay.
It wasn't yeah. And we each had something.
Who do you think contributed the most to the bill, right? Because with food, I've found it's roughly even, right? But then, like, I will get beer, and that adds a little bit. But to your point, if I get whiskey, that jacks it up. But my wife will get a bottle of wine. And I know for a fact most of the bill is probably that bottle of wine that she will drink on her own, because I'm not a big wine drinker.
Unless I drink mixed drinks, because I'll get 2 or 3 of those.
Do you get mixed drinks at
Yeah, I mean, like if it's going to be
At a steak,
2
I'll
hours.
usually get an old-fashioned myself.
Something with a big ice cube, one of those.
I do like the big ice. Like, I'll take the whiskey. Normally, I don't want ice, but if you have the big fat ass ice cube, please add it because it looks cool.
Trying to think the
I think
most.
it's pretty even.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, Daniel's is a great spot to go. We were just talking
I was going to say, if that's the only one that's open, it's like, oh, dang.
We were just talking about going to steakhouse. I need to do my annual steakhouse trip, which I haven't done. I try to go at least once every year or two or whatever, and I normally end up at the Met Grill.
Right.
But it's time to get that done. I keep looking at I follow them on Instagram, and I see all the pictures. I'm like, I need to get down there and sit at the bar and get myself a steak and some drinks. And just
I went in there and had a couple appetizers and a couple drinks before a Kraken game.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm trying to think of the most expensive meal I've had.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is because I didn't pick up the bill either time, but I believe it's probably one of two occasions, and both times Hair Club probably picked up the tab. Because one time when we had escargot and all this crap, but I mean, you're talking, 15 people there or something?
Yep.
It was a lot of people. The place is already expensive, and then we were ordering all the super expensive stuff because they said it's on the house. We're like, cool. And then also with Hair Club in New Orleans, he took us one of these chef tasting deals, man.
Amazing.
It was
Amazing.
unreal, man. It was a 10-course meal. None of the portions were particularly huge, but even individually, I'd have to think these would be, quote-unquote, $35, $40 appetizers. And there's 5 of us were there, and I have to think that had to be like $3,000 maybe.
Okay.
I mean, that one dinner we went to in Munich was pretty.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And that restaurant
amazing.
only had like 4 or 5 tables.
Maybe.
And
But
then
that was in
know-
euros.
And then me and a buddy years ago, we went to Vegas to see Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva 2.
Okay.
And we went to a steakhouse. I don't even think it's there anymore. But we had like literally our appetizer was like Iberico ham and this and that. My buddy's really into restaurants, so he was like, "I'll get it." But I mean, we didn't even go crazy. But that one was hundreds of dollars, and it was literally 2 of us.
Now I know that it was Nobu in South Beach. Right? So everyone's talking about Nobu. Robert De Niro's a part owner. Means nothing to me. I just heard the food was good. He's a part owner, and we went to South Beach. I was like, fine, I'll check it out. Because my wife was really excited about it. And we were there with another couple. And to Nobu's credit, the food was unbelievable. And I remember the appetizer that we really liked was like $60 or something for their 5 dumplings.
Right.
And these dumplings were worth it, man. But I remember we got our bill, and all of us about passed it. It was like one of the few times I wanted to do a dine and dash, except we're staying at the hotel where it's at.
Mine was my daughter's high school graduation. So 20 family members came into town.
Ooh.
And they all came from the East Coast.
Were you picking up the bill?
Well, they all flew in. They all stayed in hotel rooms. They were here for 2 or 3 days. So when the dinner came around, I'm like, all right, you know what? You guys have already spent enough money getting here. I got dinner. Not a big deal. I got this.
You did a head count first, right?
Yeah, there was probably about 15 to 20 people there. And we had the dinner at a place called Palisades, which is a seafood restaurant over in Elliott Bay, I guess Magnolia, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. On the water, blah, 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 blah. I got the bill, and I about fell off my chair. I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
But you offered to pick it up,
I
Red
did.
Lobster.
I did.
Hey, everyone.
I did.
Yeah.
It's, if I'm going to Palisades, right, again, with that kind of head count, nothing against Palisades, but I understand what they're doing.
Right. And they were a larger party. So they had a couple things built into this. And a couple of those things were like every table of 5 or 6 people got a seafood tower. So this is one of these.
Oh.
This is one of these. I mean, you know, every single.
That's the most expensive appetizer any fine restaurant.
Oh, we got 4 or 5. You know, I'm like, oh my God. Like, what did I say?
I mean, it sounds awesome. I've still not had a seafood tower. I'm always looking at them.
Were you kind of price watching as you go? Or is it the place that doesn't put the price? Because some places don't put the price, and I'm like, if they don't know the price, just know it costs a ton.
People were having a great time. It was good for all the family to be back together again. People were drinking. They were having fun. They were ordering mixed drinks. They were loosening up.
Which costs a lot. Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what, man? She's only going to graduate one time that I'm going to be around the high school world. So, you know, she's off and going to do her own thing. So I'm going to take care of this tab.
Would you do it again?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's right.
We would go someplace else and still have a wonderful time. That's a fact. The reason we asked what's the most expensive meal you've ever eaten, a grandmother was fined more than $3,000 for a chicken sandwich that she forgot was in her backpack when she arrived in Australia to visit family. The woman, June Armstrong, she arrived at Christchurch for an early morning flight to Brisbane to spend 3 months house-sitting, visiting family. She's 77 years old. Supposed to fly with her husband a few days earlier, but changed her flight after she made her first, plans. Something changed.
Tournament? Some weird thing. I don't know.
First bowls final. I guess it's probably a bowling tournament she did well in. Well, she gets to the airport. She bought a muffin and a gluten-free chicken and lettuce sandwich, which was
gluten-free.
I sat down.
It wasn't even a good chicken sandwich.
Ate my muffin. Really didn't feel like it, so I threw the rest away. But I put my chicken sandwich in my backpack. I forgot. I'm very forgetful, but not forgetful enough to be diagnosed with dementia. She initially intended to eat the sandwich on the plane, fell asleep once on board. She then filled out a declaration form, said she had some prescription medication. So once in Australia, she went through Border Patrol, where her suitcase, backpack were all checked. As the official went through her backpack, he found the chicken sandwich. I said, I'm sorry, I forgot it. Could you throw that away for me? He kept going through my bag. She then emptied her bag on the table while the man went away. While she waited, a couple she saw in Christchurch, they walked past. I said, I might be on TV, never thinking anything was wrong. A short while later, the man returned and said, 12 points, $3,300. I said, what does that mean? He says, 12 points, $3,300. She then asked, are you joking? Once she realized he was not joking, she began crying. So after paying, she sent another email asking why she was fined when it was her first infringement, why the fine was so high, and mentioning that the sandwich was sealed. She also sent an email 1 month later to say the fine was having a significant impact on her life.
Yeah, it's $3,000 for a chicken sandwich, man.
Then we have a story out of College Park, Georgia, where more than $7,000 was what cost a woman for a Subway Italian sub. That's what the woman discovered that was charged to her credit card bill after ordering her regular number 4 from the Subway. I could have gone to Italy and got that sandwich. I know what it normally costs. It's supposed to be $7.54, but the bill for the meal charged to her credit card was obviously an accident, $7,112. I was like, oh my God, how did this happen? She now believes the screen changed to tip when she was trying to enter her phone number to collect her Subway rewards points. I must have been keying it into the pad and the screen changed. She thought it would be a simple fix, but nearly a month afterward, she's been trying unsuccessfully to get the charge reversed. She said the store manager repeatedly refused to discuss it, and she received a denial letter when she was disputed the charge with her credit card company. This is unbelievable because I feel like everyone that sees it has to know it's a mistake. I've worked in retail. I know we tally up at the end of the night. Come on. Bank of America, which issued her credit card, said they reached out to the Subway franchise and its corporate offices. They said they were in the middle of processing the chargeback.
Come on. You know damn well should not leave a $7,000 tip for an Italian sub at Subway.
More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
We all know cats are intelligent. Felix Cat Insurance was able to secretly record 2 cats on a hidden microphone. Let's listen in.
Did you hear the one about the 3 dogs at the park?
That's old, like 4 lives ago. But did you hear about the new pet insurance just for cats from FelixCatInsurance.com?
Of course. What do I look like, a dog?
When you're coughing up a fur ball. Yes. Listen, Felix Cat Insurance plans start at under $1 per day and are as unique as you and me. They call it whisker-to-tail protection.
Even fur balls?
Even that. Remember the last time you had a fur ball? I made a TikTok. It went viral.
Oh, that's good. Wait, you're on social media?
There you have it. Felix Cat Insurance. Customizable coverage exclusively for felines. Sorry, no dogs allowed. FelixCatInsurance.com. Get it? Meow. Insurance is underwritten by Independence American Insurance Company and produced by Independence Pet Group. Pre-existing conditions are not covered. For all terms and limitations, visit FelixCatInsurance.com/terms.
This holiday season, make your journey memorable with Travel Centers of America. Visit our one-stop shop for all your holiday travel needs. Fuel up, get snacks, and dine at one of our full-service restaurants. Hit the road with peace of mind knowing we've got you covered. Travel Centers of America.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, Bibi is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or Old Bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
It is Random Question 206-803-ROCK.
Yes, indeed, in the words of Pat Summerall. Emmett. Hello, Emmett. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Kaka.
You don't know that one, Mike? So Pat Summerall used to be John Madden's partner on Monday Night Football, and he notoriously drank through the broadcast. They mostly hid that for public view, but I guess on a few occasions, he would literally doze off during the game. So Emmett Smith had some big run, and Pat Summerall was clearly waking up to the run, just going, Emmett. It's one of Emmett.
All right, Emmett, let's go with this one. Relationship, friend or work. What was your last breakup that you either had with a job, with a friend, with maybe a partner?
My last breakup would have been as far as a job. I had been there for like 4 years.
All right.
Or so.
What were you doing?
I worked as a mechanic. I worked on heavy equipment, trucks, excavators, bulldozers, stuff like that. And I left because I had this one coworker who, amazingly enough, still works there, even though everybody who worked in the shop, they expressed their dislike of this particular guy. And it came down to the point where I was either going to snap and murder him or I was just going to leave. And I chose just to leave.
Probably a good idea.
And it's solely because of this guy.
Yeah. I mean, well, I worked anywhere between like 60 and like 80-hour weeks. Most weeks, especially during the summer, that's when things are dry and you can actually get out and your construction equipment is working. That kind of sucked, but I mean the money was fantastic. But yeah, no, it was primarily because of this guy.
Let me ask you a question. Was he incompetent at his job? Was he annoying? Was he a supervisor? Was overbuilt? Like, what was his? Right. Where was he on the ladder that it bothered you so much?
So he got hired on as I had already been there for about roughly a year-ish at the point that he got hired on, and he got hired on as a supervisor. And at first he wasn't bad, but then he started to become like a massive micromanager. Like I'd be in the middle of, say, I'm working on an excavator and I'm up on a ladder, in a slightly precarious position. Maybe the ladder's not very stable and maybe I might be about to fall, but I'm pulling a hydraulic cylinder off of an excavator, and I get a phone call. And I get a phone call, and I get a phone call, and then I get another phone call. And every time I see his name, I just say, "You mother effer, you need to leave me alone because I'm trying to get my goddamn work done."
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, look, one thing that's universally true.
Times, I finally answer, and he's like, and he sounds just about like he goes, "Hey, where you at on that?" And I go, I'm right in the middle of the project. You just. Let me go. Let me do my job.
Yeah, nobody likes to be micromanaged. I don't care what your job is. I don't care how long you've been there, man. Micromanaging people is so annoying. I mean, even with kids. If they're doing their homework, I leave them alone until they're done. Because even when you hover over them, how you doing on the math? They're like, well, find out how I'm doing on this when I'm done. And you can get that sense. I don't think I've had to deal with too many micromanagers too much. We had a couple of chefs that would get up in you, but I understand it because there's specific reputations on the line. It's still not awesome, but you go, okay, you've put your name on the restaurant. I have to execute this right because, you're not going to suffer fools, as it were. But
Well, the reason we asked a relationship, friend, or work, what was your last breakup? Here is a headline that a lot of us never wanted to read. Daryl Hall sues John Oates.
That's a big story this weekend.
It's killing me.
Restraining order that Daryl Hall got against John Oates is now being explained. Daryl Hall has sued his longtime musical partner, John Oates, arguing that his plan to sell off his share of a joint venture would violate the terms of a business agreement the Hall and Oates duo had forged. The move quickly prompted a judge to temporarily block the sale, while legal proceedings and a previously initiated arbitration continue. A judge issued the temporary restraining order, writing that Oates and others involved in his trust cannot move to close the sale of their share of Whole Oats Enterprises.
Whole Oats?
Until an arbitrator in a separately filed case weighs in on the deal, or until the judge's order expires, typically within 15 days, unless they extend that deadline. Basically, the deal is this. You've heard of people that are going out and they're selling their catalogs to publishing companies.
Sure.
A number of artists have
Springsteen just did it.
done it recently, and they've cashed in, and basically they've given their musical rights over for millions and millions of dollars. Some of those terms are not disclosed.
And you'll start hearing it on more TV commercials, halftime shows, etc.
Well, John Oates wanted to do this. Daryl Hall did not want his catalog sold as of now.
Okay.
So he doesn't have... Look, if Manwich Sandwich Mix, right? If they want to use Maneater or whatever...
Yeah.
They can if John Oates sells his portion of the of their
So
songs.
he just wants to sell, let's assume it's 50%. He just wants to sell his 50%. Daryl can keep his 50%, but because a lot of their songs are a team player, he still doesn't want to hear. Because there's a song.
They have an agreement that said, hey, we got to both agree to sell it.
Okay.
So you can't sell just half of it.
I'm curious because, so my wife told me about this, right? We didn't have all the details of what it's about, just restraining order, all this stuff. And we were watching one of the football games Sunday. I do not remember what the commercial's for, but it's a Hall & Oates song, essentially is their jingle. And I'm not thinking about that. And I was like, when did Hall & Oates, so it's the first time I've heard one of their songs using a television commercial. My wife goes, you know what, that might be at the heart of what all this crap's about. I'm like, you know what, that's a good point, man.
Well, you could still use people's songs. You just got to pay them, as opposed to selling off your catalog and then it's widely used. So, like, you can still use a Hall & Oates song. You just got to...
Ford is paying both of you specifically
but
for
ironically
Ford.
Ironically enough, Daryl Hall, back in the day, sold off his half. And then they got back together and said, hey, let's just be on the same team together.
All right.
But Daryl Hall did not get paid when he sold off the catalog rights. He did not get any money. He said, all you have is your art and your music. And even though he messed up, they made a pact that they would not sell any of their catalog again. He said, and so when John Oates came to Daryl Hall and said, hey, I want to sell this, he said, I can't go for that. No can do.
All right.
It had to be done.
But either way, Daryl Hall is on tour as a solo artist doing all the music of Hall & Oates.
So wait,
and
explain this to me
John
again.
Oates was supposed to do like a handful of dates before the holidays. So he's not allowed to even go on stage until they get this
So
resolved.
Daryl Hall sold his half of the catalog however many years ago.
Correct.
And did not get paid?
Apparently whatever deal he did was not...
How do you sell something and not make money? I mean...
I don't know.
I would
don't know the
assume he
specifics
has
of
an
it.
account like, hey, man, you could make a whole lot of money on this, right? And I guess Hall. So Oates was like, cool, do your thing. Then they get back together for the we still hate each other tour, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. And they're getting older. So, I mean, he's like, look, I don't want to be out of touch, but you're out of time.
It's going to be all day, Mike.
Yeah.
Random.
Hello, JP.
I'm sad about that, though. That they're not friends.
Liquor and whores, bitches.
Liquor and whores, JP.
I mean, look, when I first read it, I was like, no kidding. It only seems strange because you haven't heard any of the stuff leading up to it.
Right.
In no way is that surprising.
It doesn't surprise
I mean,
me.
you
They've
see it with
hated
bands
each
all
other.
the time. You see it with shows. Like,
But they've openly hated each other. I mean, for years. Even when they went on their latest tour, it's like, oh, no, man, we don't get along. We really don't. But we wanted to do one last tour with that a-hole.
Yeah.
So when Daryl Hall helps him with his laundry, is he selling his oats?
Keep them coming, man. That's right. Like a true Quaker.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with this question. For better or worse, what physical feature about you would you say that everyone notices?
You know what it is.
Oh, it's my big fat head.
You got a big fat head.
Let me say big fat head. Is it
I have to order an extra size helmet because it's so big. I can't even wear other people's helmets.
Are you an 8?
No, I think most women would call me a 4.
Oh, I'm talking about the size of your head. Does it look unusual for your body size?
No. I'm a big dude.
All right.
6'3", 240. Yeah.
Now, you say that, but the flip side of that is people still notice your big fat head.
Now, is it your head, or some people have a big-ass neck?
So in other words, do you have, like, fat cheeks? Is it an unusually long forehead like Beyonce? Is it just a big-ass dome in general?
Jesus, you guys are so good for my ego. Wow, this is great. I love it. Wow, it's fantastic. Yeah. No, all that. No, I'm 6'3", 240. You don't find Malaysian children in my size,
Okay.
All right.
Look, man, I will say, as far as people with big heads, a friend of the show, love the guy, Craig Gass. Mm-hmm. He's got a big head, man. And it's like, I notice it when he walks in. It doesn't look, quote unquote, funny or unusual, but you can't help but notice, like, I feel like Charles Schultz drew your head.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I have a buddy, and it didn't bug me, but one day we were talking, he's like, yeah, man, my eyes are way too far apart.
I know who you're talking
And every time I see him, right, everybody's nodding. He gets it. I just never really noticed it. But now, every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, they are.
He's IMAX, man.
The one thing you don't do, if no one brings it up, don't tell people. Because you're right. I noticed it the first time I met him. But if I'm like you, Ted, once he brings it up, like, I can't not notice
You need
that.
those wraparound glasses as far as your frames, just, to get through the gap of how far that is between the
His eyes are just oddly far apart.
Around here,
Yeah, I always bring up, there's a guy that used to play for Arsenal, German national team player, Mesut Ozil.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. His eyes are out there.
Yep. There's a guy that works, I will not say where he works. He works in proximity to where we work. Mike and I have nicknamed him Simple Jack. But this dude, I went to order food, and I couldn't stop staring at him. Younger guy, but the biggest two front teeth I've ever seen on a human being, right? And I mean, and then he had a bowl haircut. Like, he really wanted to look as bad as you could look, man. And I'm like, oh my, so I'm telling Mike about it. And Mike went to the same place, and he's like, yeah, dude, he looks like Simple Jack. So now that's his nickname. He really does, man. I can't get past it. That dude could eat an apple through a picket fence. You know what I mean?
The reason we ask, for better or for worse, what physical feature do people notice about you right away? Have you guys ever heard of pregnancy nose?
Pregnancy nose?
Pregnancy nose.
No,
apparently,
I have not.
Apparently I have one. It's a new one on me, but apparently many women say their noses get bigger when they get pregnant. And someone on TikTok recently said that it looks like Little Mermaid star Halle Bailey has it. She would like you to know she does not. She says, quote, listen, if I see one more person say something about my nose one more time, it's going to be hell to pay. You know why? Because I'm black. I love my nose. What are you commenting on my nose for? Leave me the hell alone.
See, you say that, but here's the flip side. I don't know what she looks like pregnant, but I know what she looks like not pregnant, maybe the best way to put it. So I feel like if I saw her in her pregnancy, and the one thing I noticed, not the baby bump, but your nose, then something's going on with your nose. No one's ever commented on your nose before now. So that tells me something to it.
Yep.
It's okay. I got to think the rest of these blowing up too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Random.
I just heard about ankles. It's always ankles. You know what I mean? Woman's pregnant, it's like, man, your belly's big, yeah, you're retaining water, your cheeks are getting fat. It's ankles.
Yep.
That is the one complaint universally. My ankles hurt.
Yeah, I have a cousin. His wife is very nice. But we were in our 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about pregnancy or this or that. And we're at a wedding. She's handing out the little
Programs, yeah.
And I said, I feel bad for you. Like, that just looks painful. Everything looks so swollen. And I mean, we're in a church. She's very nice. And she was just like F you. Like, yes, everything is swollen. And I was like, oh, sorry. She's like, yeah, I'm 8.5. Like, I'm due soon. Like, everything. I'm like, yep, I'm an idiot.
I like how you're trying to be kind, and it's just the worst thing to say. Boy, just looks awful. I mean, you're just all bloated.
Yeah, that's got to be
retaining
terrible.
all this water. Well, yeah, the worst part's people bringing it up. Thanks.
Exactly.
Hello, Scott. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichula!
Hola. Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much, man. First time, long time. I tried to call in years ago, and one of you guys was going on a rant, asking people to do something from behind. It was about boat meat, and I never got on the air. It was a real shame.
Yeah, I got sidetracked with anger.
Yes.
But I remember that.
Okay, let's see.
Nice to meet you guys.
Well, let's go with this one. If you could, what would you like to do one more time that you've done in your lifetime. Maybe you're not physically able to do it anymore. Maybe it's a
Maybe
location.
she moved away.
Yeah, whatever the deal is. What would you like to do one more time if you could before you pass on?
Well, that X is no longer around. So how about this? I did a trip, backpacking, canoeing, portaging, up in Canada, Adirondacks, living off your back. Most fun I've had. Did it with the Boy Scouts. I don't think I could physically do it again. I'm getting a little older. But man, it was just amazing.
How long were you out there?
The bear up there. We did 3 weeks living off our backs.
Wow.
By
Okay.
the time you get back into civilization, any woman, 80 years old, oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Your body is in so much better shape when you do stuff like
Well,
that.
sure.
First of all, you lose a little weight. You're active the entire time. Now, did you guys take canoes with you? Did you portage through different areas, or did you hike most of the time?
We portaged almost everywhere. We rented fiberglass canoes. And my good buddy got into an argument with his other friend. They threw down the canoe to go to fisticuffs, and they got a hole in it. And we're 200 miles from the nearest ranger station. So we had duct tape. Saved the day.
Yeah, actually, I will on it. Yeah.
Did Phil Swift show up with Flex Seal?
Right. I've done 11 days canoeing, and mostly canoeing in Canada. We did a lot of portaging as well. But the one thing I'll always remember is how black the water was because it was so clear.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that at that time we were so far north in northern Quebec, you could take your cup, your stainless steel cup, dip it into the lake, and drink the water.
And just drink it straight up.
Drink the water.
That's wild.
I don't know if that's still safe or not, but we did. And it was really weird because if you went fishing, you need to have a steel leader on your line because all the fish have teeth. The pike, the musk.
Right.
They're going to bite that thing in half. So it's kind of weird to do like saltwater fishing in freshwater.
In a creek, right. Or river.
Knowing what's down there. Knowing what's down there.
Absolutely. So what was so funny, though, is that we were drinking the water fresh out. After 3 weeks, we get back, there is a truck dumping raw sewage into the lake illegally at the place where we flew out. We're like, oh no, how can this possibly be? But nobody got sick, so obviously we were upriver of that.
You know what?
How many days did you go worried that one of you is going to get like dysentery or start pooping blood or something?
Oh gosh, probably about 3 or 4 days. We were young kids, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, we didn't care too much about it. I think where we got most scared was when we came across the border. We had CBs in all of our cars. And there was one kid, Danny, kept telling everybody to hide the drugs.
Oh, my God.
And we were terrified we were getting the cars ripped apart. Like, we had nothing on us. But
yeah.
It was quite a trip.
Eye-opener for me at the time was the fact that in French-speaking Quebec, first of all, everyone's bilingual. They all speak French. They all speak English. But
they won't.
The fact that we're Boy Scouts with an American flag. You think that French Quebec people hate the rest of the Canadians? They cannot stand Americans. So that was a quick lesson that I didn't realize that they're not going to answer any of your questions.
Even with Boy Scouts,
no English. Like, you speak English. We know this.
My mother said for $5 people speak English. They had the same experience. I think they were in Quebec City. This is years ago, right? So my mom goes there with my father, thinking the same thing. Well, it's a bilingual country. We'll do fine. And she goes, man, as soon as they figured out you were from the States, suddenly they no English can be spoken at all. My father was like, I'm going to call BS on this. So I guess they hit like an ATM.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak the English. Here's the 5 spot. All right, listen here, player. You want to go down the road?
I had a guy do it to me at a bar once in an airport.
Where was the airport? In Quebec? Or?
No, it was in Chicago. And I said something to him as we were watching like a soccer game, and he starts talking to me. And then you're right. It must have clicked in his head that I was American. And then like the next sentence was, in French, I don't speak English. And I was like, you were just talking to me.
We just had a conversation.
Yeah, and he like turned.
Damn.
I know. And that's why I said, I guess he doesn't really speak much English. And like, I can't remember. It was somebody I told that story to was just like, yeah, he just didn't want to talk to you. You're American.
You
right?
should have started just talking smack on him to the bartender. Because he doesn't understand English. Like, you see all these pimples on the back of his head, man.
We were in a convenience store in the middle of nowhere, like in North Bay or near. Like,
and they still won't do it.
We're spending money. We're buying all like our snacks, our Twinkies and candy bars and stuff for the road on the way back. And there's 15 of us dumping a ton of money in the store, and it did not matter. They did not want to talk to us. They would not speak. They just bring it up and go, whatever. Reason we asked if you could, what would you like to do one more time? Back to the world of music, 74-year-old Ozzy Osbourne. He knows he won't live to see 100. As he puts it, at best, I've got 10 years, maybe. He recently had a fourth
Optimist.
surgery to fix the damage caused by a fall he had in 2019. And he had a rod put into his spine and a tumor that was found and removed from one of his vertebrae. So he's been recovering to try to give fans one last performance. He says, that's one of the things that I've been most effing mad about. I never got the chance to say goodbye or thank you because my fans are what it's all about. If I can just do a few gigs, they've been loyal to me for effing years. I just want to be well enough to do one show where I can say, hey guys, thank you so much for my life. That's what I'm trying to work toward. And if I drop dead at the end of it, I will die a happy man. But Ozzy refuses to perform from a wheelchair or sitting down. He also says, I don't know why I'm still here anyway, and I do sometimes think I'm on borrowed time. I said to Sharon the other day, what a great effing life we've had, and what a great effing experience. So, by the way, in related news, Geezer Butler from Sabbath says Ozzy's claims that he hasn't checked on him are false. They talk all the time, and they're still friends.
I like that Geezer's his name.
Yeah.
Even when he's like 20 years old. Now it kind of fits.
Exactly.
Like, what would you do one more time? Of all the things you've done. Like,
Oh, God.
That's a tough one, man. Like, I don't know. Some things are doable. Like, we went on a European cruise. It was one of the best experiences I've had. Granted, it costs money. I don't want to have to spend money on it again. But I can do that again.
It depends on the experience. Like, I know, Ted, you probably would want to go for another birthday weekend.
Oh, the Bunny Ranch?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
that's easy money. I mean, if Dennis was still alive, I'd go down there just for his birthday again.
Sure.
I mean, they're just fun times.
Anytime.
One more time. Either run on the field at a college football game.
All right.
Because when you run through the tunnel, it's kind of a surreal
awesome.
experience.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, go to the Super Bowl again. Because my team's going to be there if I go.
If they go, then I know I'm going. I would do CBGB's again in New York. I think it's closed down since then, man. But
Maybe.
just a legendary club in New York City. Got the opportunity to play it, and it's just surreal because you're there. Because I want to say, like 2 weeks before that, like Guns N' Roses had played there. You know, for some taped thing that they did. And I'm like, granted, they had a few more people than we did, but still, I'm like, this is cool. It's the most disgusting bathroom I've ever walked into my life. They don't care about anything. Everybody's mean, but it was a great show. And I'm like, fellas, we're not going to do this again, man. You got to soak this in and enjoy it. And we
I
did.
mean, look, it'd be fun to box in an arena or in a casino
Really?
again.
That would be badass. If you could just remember any of it.
Yeah, right, but do it right. The lead up to it and everything would be pretty physically taxing.
And getting punched.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
part's not
downside
fun.
about that is
Yeah.
getting punched in the face.
So you ready for this? Looking at CBGB's over here. It looks like in October of 2006, the last show was played at CBGB. But the aftermath, by late 2007, fashion designer John Varvatos planned to open a store in CBGB's former space.
Oh.
All right.
So
My man.
He's got close.
Stepping in there.
I will say this. You know, if you go out and you get into a fight or a physical confrontation, you don't plan on that. That's just
No.
something that goes down real fast at a bar or whatever the deal is, or family, whatever fracas or whatever the deal is. But it's kind of like when you know that guy's going to beat you up after school and he's waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the equivalent of scheduling a time where you know that it's counting down and you are going to get punched.
Yeah, the mental part
in
of
the
it
face.
is crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the
That
thing.
would
Most
drive me
people don't.
nuts.
Right. Most people. I mean, that's why I respect the hell out of boxers and MMA guys. It's like, right, like you're specifically saying, all right, 2 months from now, we'll see you Saturday night in the arena. Like,
And I'm
all
telling
right.
people, I'm going to beat your ass.
But it's the time. Like, you know the exact time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, you're on at 8, man. You're in the ring. You're like, oh, man, here it comes. All that to get punched in the face. More of the random question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I started again.
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
It is the random question, 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Juan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random. What's up, fellas?
Hola! Juan, how are you? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, bro. How was your guys' Thanksgiving?
It was great, man. Actually, the food was really good. A lot of travel, a lot of time in airports. There were, they weren't busy at all. But other than that, it was, man, you don't even want to know.
What was the worst airport? Because you left out of SeaTac, flew to Atlanta, and then flew to what in West Virginia?
I was at the airport by 4:30, so SeaTac was not bad at that point in time.
All right.
I'm still kind of sad that there's no place to grab breakfast.
There's not.
There's nothing open. But Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world. And to say that they are the busiest airport in the world and the busiest travel weekend it was amazing.
Did they get you in and out of there pretty well, though?
Yeah. I mean, no delay. I mean, I did have an hour delay, but either way, that wasn't the worst thing in the world.
I'm telling you, I picked up my mother last Tuesday night, right? She got in like 10 o'clock. So I got off by Lovers, and then it took me an hour and 15 minutes from Lovers to get to Arrivals.
Oh, my God.
It was unreal.
How many cuss words do you think you said in that hour and a half?
Oh, I was beyond frustrated.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even explain it because you're so close, but you're just going nowhere.
All right, Juan, let's do this one. How do you save money? How do you cut some corners with whatever expenses you have? Do you have any
Steal.
way? Yeah.
Theft.
Exactly, right. What do you do to save some money?
Oh, man. I hide it from my wife.
Okay.
Hey, man, I get it.
Do you save cash?
Yeah, I just put it. I have some in my on my door in my truck. Couple bucks here.
Okay. And she has no idea it's there.
Shut up.
Well,
I'm tell you what I have.
What would she spend it on if she had it?
If she has a penny in her pocket and she needs to go spend that.
So it doesn't matter how much money she has. She's going to find something that she wants to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
And what are you spending your money on? I'm guessing drugs and booze.
I spend it on? No, booze. I tell them to bring the booze. I'll supply the party supplies.
Okay. Look, I found that when I was in relationships, married, where you have joint bank accounts, the best thing that you can do is just get yourself some cash.
Yeah.
That way that there's no questionable, transactions at all as far as anything.
They're all questionable. They just don't know what to question.
Well, the money's gone, but you don't know where I spent it.
Exactly.
I'm not up to no good, but I mean, if I want to go to a bar and drop $50, I'm going to a bar and dropping $50. So.
Yeah, I have my wife do all the finances, man. I'm just like, look, it goes into the account. I don't know what our bills are. I don't care, and I don't ask, right? You know what I mean? And to me, that's easy living. As long as I have X number of dollars a week, I'm cool. She knows that. I know that. And that deal's been in place for like a decade. So I'm like, look, man, this is all I want. I don't need to know anything else. I know that a lot of Amazon boxes show up at the house. Right.
Yeah.
But to be fair, because half the time I'm like, come on, man, all these Amazon boxes show up and you're telling me you're not getting anything. She's like, open them. Well, there's dog food. Or there's new pens and pencils for the kids. She does have me on that. Right. Like everything she orders is for everyone else.
The reason we asked, how do you save money and cut corners? We were just talking about travel and things. And as you know, different cities in the United States, obviously different levels of what it takes to live there from an economic standpoint.
You don't say.
Yes. And depending on the airport you fly out of, look, there's a reason our gas is still $5.79. A lot of that has to do with state taxes. But look, where I just was, gas was $2.80 a gallon.
Right.
$2.80 a gallon.
Because they charge, it's not the price of gas so much as
what people
what's
can
the
afford.
General income of this area, right? So
Yep.
Seattle's always a ripoff, Boston's a ripoff, New York City's a ripoff, LA's a ripoff. But like you said, West Virginia, not so bad. Baltimore, not so bad.
If you check out the cost of an airplane ticket from Seattle to Los Angeles, all right? Anytime you fly out of Seattle, it's going to be a lot more money.
There's no competition.
If you drive 3 hours down the road, and granted it's probably an hour in the air, and you fly out of Portland to Los Angeles, the ticket is $100 cheaper. Minimal $100 cheaper, just because you're flying out of Portland. And Portland's not the cheapest city in the world, but it's just it's more affordable than flying out of Seattle.
You know, when we went back for the Seahawks-Ravens game earlier this year, as a fact, if your team is playing in a different city than flights from your home city to that city, they jack the price to the roof. So my wife and I, just being from the area, we said, you know what, let's fly into Philly. Because driving to Philly to Baltimore would be like driving from here to Olympia. Right. It's not that bad, right? So, and we're flying a family of 4. We saved about $800 total. It was almost $200 a ticket cheaper. And instead we rented a car. We saved money just by dude, if you can drive 79 miles, which you can't, and this is on 95, so it doesn't even take 79, it takes like an hour because people drive so fast there. So we saved $800.
Now Vegas is an affordable flight. Typically, you can get down there on they
know you're going to spend money,
right? Exactly, but you're still flying out of Seattle. Now I don't know where the college football national championship games are, where they're playing the tournament or whatever. Maybe it is Vegas this year. I didn't look yet.
I mean, Pac-12 Friday nights in Vegas.
All right,
on New Year's Day, there's I think there's one at the Rose Bowl and one somewhere else.
Right. Okay, no matter where those games are, if you're flying out of Seattle and UW is involved, the ticket's going to be
a hell of a lot more.
Twice as much money. So as they say, it often costs more for the convenience of direct flight when you're connecting flights. But some flyers have figured out a way to game the system. Much to the chagrin of airlines, it's a process called skip lagging.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. It's when a customer books a non-direct flight for less than the direct one would have cost, but then makes the connecting city their final destination and does not get on the connecting flight.
Right.
Yeah. So they never board the next leg of the flight. One woman told CNN Travel she saved between $4,000 and $3,000 doing this about 10 times over the past few years. Usually on international flights, I pay much less. I'm doing it constantly. So they give you an example of the modern day equivalent of ghosting an airline flight. Suppose I want to fly from Minneapolis to Miami and the fare is $500.
All right.
Then I discovered that if I book the flight from Minneapolis to Jacksonville, Florida, with a stop or a connection in Miami, the fare is only $350. So instead of flying back to Jacksonville, you just
fly to Miami. Get off the plane.
In that case, you book a one-way only flight, you take your carry-on bags, simply never board the Miami to Jacksonville leg of the itinerary. However, if it was direct just into Miami,
it costs you more.
It's going to cost you more.
But that's how you choose to price it. People understanding your system, don't get mad
I
at
have
us.
a buddy that does it all the time, and he doesn't live in this area anymore. So he books flights to Alaska or somewhere crazy in Canada.
Right. And your layovers here, right?
Yeah, he just takes carry-on, and when they stop in Seattle, he just leaves the airport.
It's more affordable to fly into Anchorage than it is to fly into Seattle or Juneau or wherever.
The airline's been price gouging us for everything for years, right? So I don't feel bad for them at all. And two, if that's how you choose to price it, then that's what people are going to do. People don't want to spend as much money as they can. They will spend as much as they need to. But if you find a way to spend, look, if you say here's a brand new Ford Focus, for Christ's sake, the exact same car. Now, look, if you drive to my dealership, it's going to cost you $10,000. But I can drive this to your local Target parking lot. We do the same transaction. It's going to cost you $7,500. I'll meet you at Target, dude. Come on, guys.
Look at the cost of a direct flight from, we'll say Seattle to Chicago. Typically, it can be a 3-hour flight or 4 hours coming back, depending, right? But if you book the flight to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and you see that the layover is in Chicago, that flight's going to be cheaper. Now, if it goes through Minneapolis, you're screwed. But you can find the one that goes through Chicago.
Right.
And then you get a connecting flight to Milwaukee. You just get off the plane at O'Hare and you walk the hell out. And you're going to save a ton of money.
And here's the thing. One, the airline already got its money one way or another. And two, when you realize they have the empty seats, that's when they offer them other people. I don't think they're losing money on this as much as it's just harder for them to get the same amount of money they would have made in the first place. But charge less.
Yep.
If you can't figure it out, we'll help you. Hello, Taylor. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. What's going on? Hola.
Hola. Taylor, how are you, sir? Since we're talking travel, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my holidays, I ended up getting my ribs bruised, and I never knew bruised ribs is so terrible.
That is brutal.
Because there's
sucks.
nothing they can do. There's nothing you can do. It's just time is the thing that makes it go away. How did you bruise your ribs?
Well, after Thanksgiving, we met up with friends that same night, did some drinking, and my buddy's brother-in-law was like, hey, man, it'd be really cool to do some extracurriculars. And I was like, guess who has some? Well, he's really strong, and he bear hugged me, and I just felt this pop. And
oh, God.
It sucks, dude.
Oh, I know.
He bear hugs you that tight.
No one around you can be funny. You cannot sneeze.
Right.
There's a number of things with broken ribs that you can't roll over accidentally when you're sleeping. There's a lot of things you don't think about. Coughing. Sometimes even swallowing.
Everything sucks.
Yeah.
Ow.
Since we're talking travel, let's go with this one. What would you say has been your scariest or your weirdest travel moments that you've experienced, Taylor?
Well, so I used to work on the East Coast, and there was one night we're driving like the backwoods of Virginia, and we're in a big box truck, and we're going down. It's snowy. We could barely see. And then out of nowhere, this giant owl comes swooping down, and we both kind of panic, and it pulls up, and we just hear boom, because it hit the top of the truck. We thought it was going through the windshield. Like, this thing just immediate vertical, but didn't know it was going right into a wall.
Did you stop the truck and get out and look at the owl?
No, these roads, there was, like, nowhere, like, barely anything on the side of the road.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than driving in snow when you're taking a long haul, place. You're over top of a mountain or whatever the deal is. I don't care if you've got four-wheel drive. It's just still, you have a tension headache.
Yeah,
your shoulders and your neck. By the, storms that do that to you, or you're just white-knuckling it the entire time. And then by the time that you get to your hotel room or wherever you are, like your freaking head feels like it's going to pop off because you're just so tense.
My parents just did the drive in April. They moved down to New Mexico. So they left here, went to New Mexico. Well, we had that freak snowstorm, but it hit like Utah and Colorado the worst. So one, they couldn't even head south. They had to go east to Idaho, kind of curl around. So you're already adding time. But my father could drive anywhere, any condition, doesn't matter. They both called me when they got there, and they said, look, by the time we got to Vail, Colorado, and it's all switchbacks and these high-ass Rocky Mountains, I've never heard them both so nervous, so terrified, yet so happy to be done with the drive. So something came up the other day on the news. They're here visiting, and my parents looked at each other and said, we will never do that trip again. My mother's like, it sounds like we're exaggerating how bad it was, but there's all the snow.
You don't want to be stranded.
The sketchiest one for me, honestly, was going over to Leavenworth, January. It's a Friday night, getting up over Stevens Pass on Route 2. I hate that road.
2 lanes.
It's right, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, look, you can get a lot of snow on 90, right, Snoqualmie Pass, but it's a bigger road, this and that. Like, you're going up over past the ski resort and stuff. I was like, this is sketchy as hell.
And if you go to the south route and you go 90 and you take up north toward Wenatchee, you have to go over Blewett Pass. And there's another ski resort on top of that hill. And it just seems like no matter how you try, you're going over top of a mountain range. Either way, you got to get over top of the mountain no matter which way you go. Other reason we asked, what was your scariest travel moment? Chaos, as an American Airlines worker is forced to hold a cracked plane door shut after takeoff before they U-turn back. One apparent customer claimed that workers were holding the cracked door shut while the flight returned to Los Angeles on Friday. The American Airlines flight shared their experience on social media. They had to deplane us, and my boss heard the flight attendant say that there was a crack in the door, and they had to physically hold the door closed while they turned the plane back.
Do you think do you think you volunteered to do that, or the captain says, like, that's the last thing I want to be doing if I'm part of the flight crew. Like,
They were,
hey,
it's
hold
the truth,
this
but I
door.
think also you're so scared for your life. You got to hold.
got a good grip on
But
it.
if it sucks out,
That's what I'm saying. Like, you want to be that guy?
Do you harness in? What the hell you do there? But the flight was going to Mexico City, and then they said that they had a possible mechanical issue. Told the air traffic controllers that as they safely returned to the gate before departing some hours later. We never want to disrupt our customers' travel plans and apologize for the inconvenience. But the flight chaos came after workers for the airline were seen hurling a wheelchair down the ramp of a plane last week. Another story came out of a Southwest plane where one of the passengers freaked the hell out. He opened up the door. He jumped out onto the tarmac, ran, got one of these service vehicles that they use for either baggage or food services or whatever, took off in that thing like a golf cart. They eventually caught him.
Yes, that's the inevitable conclusion.
Apparently, he was having a bit of a breakdown. Yes, but that caused the. But that's the thing. Like, you got this guy, but the plane still had to stop and deplane and do all this crap because
you have to deplane.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody.
do we have to do
one
this?
guy just jumped off. Like, leave me alone. Like, let's just close the door. Let's go.
Like, maybe just take a vote of the passengers. Like, look, we understand that, you guys want to take precautions. We know our safety's first. Got it. But as far as we know, homeboy jumped off the plane. He's not on the plane, so if we can close the door and go, let's go. By the way, someone, they texted in. We're talking about the cost of flying. And people doing their one-way tickets at the halfway point, etc. Says, I've been in the airline industry for about 7 years now. Now, the reason that price differences fluctuate is because different airports charge planes to land different fees. Busier airports charge each plane to land more than smaller ones or the non-bigger airports.
There you go. Find the cheap airport as your final destination.
But I understand what they're saying, but also it's but it's landing and then taking off again.
Right, but they still charge it. I guess,
but it's gonna. But I'm saying, what's the difference if it's just staying there? It's like it's still landing and parking at a gate for a while. How is it that much cheaper than to go to the next spot?
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's their reasoning, Ted. No one said it as to make sense, but that is the reasoning that they give.
I took 2 one-way tickets the last time I flew back to
Paradise
to Pittsburgh.
No,
I looked at Erie, Pennsylvania. I looked at Harrisburg. So the flight, believe it or not, was from here to Chicago to Pittsburgh. It's already had a layover to Harrisburg. But the flight was, I think, $100 cheaper and got there faster.
What?
It got there faster than there was another flight I could have taken that was more of a direct flight into Pittsburgh with the airline. Either way, I saved $100
and got there faster.
Got there faster.
Deal.
Yeah, exactly, because the layover wasn't as bad. More of the Random Question coming up, 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Coming up the categories today, we have the most sinful cities here in the U.S.
Sinful.
And the states that poop the most.
Yeah.
Those are your categories. With your guess is as good as mine. Coming up after emails on our random question. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Carnival. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Random. Hi, how are you? Nick,
Hola. Yeah, man.
Hola.
How are the holidays?
They were nothing.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving? How were your holidays?
No, it was terrible. Oh, my God. It was the worst.
Now, why is that?
Oh, well, I happened to be traveling and I was alone for the holiday.
Okay, guys. Is the rest of the family gathering in one spot? You're the lone man out?
My family's kind of, they're all over the place now. My kids are growing in college and stuff, so. No, it was just, I volunteered at a food bank, like a Salvation Army, and I ate with all the homeless people, and it was cool, but it was just, I felt their loneliness, so it wasn't all that great, but it was good enough.
I hope you pointed that out to them. I can really feel your loneliness, guys. This is him.
Yep, okay. All right, let's see here.
Tell them that.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? Hats off to you for donating your time. That's very cool.
Of course.
Okay, let's see. Did you get any leftovers, by the way? Did they give you a plate to take home?
They did, yeah. Okay. It was good food. And I ate it in my hotel room the next morning.
So are you still eating your Thanksgiving leftovers? Do you have anything left, or is it all done?
I had a piece of pie yesterday from my family, but that's it.
So you went out of town to do this?
I'm sorry?
You actually went out of town to volunteer your time?
Yeah, no, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, and I was traveling there. I went to see some family, and I went to clear up some business stuff. So I was there at Salvation Army on Laird and Cole Avenue, and did my time thing, and then I came back home to Seattle.
The worst thing about being
the
worst thing about being someplace else that you're not real familiar with, like even if you were alone here in Thanksgiving. You can Google restaurants that are open on Thanksgiving Day. Some can. You have a general lay of the land as far as what's going to be open and what's not, whether it's a drugstore or a grocery store and how long.
Correct.
But when you're out of town, like I was out of town and everything was shut down. I have never in my life seen a dark 7-Eleven. That was the one.
Wow!
That blew my mind. You could still go up and get gas with a credit card,
right?
And they had a sign that said gas pumps are still working, but there was the door was shut. It was dark on the inside. I was like, just for sodas, just for anything. Right. There's nothing.
Well, I was born and raised in Albuquerque until I went in the Marine Corps in '84. So I was there for about 18 years. Okay. So I knew the town. I had some old relatives there from a long time ago, but yeah, it was great. It was good.
Now,
it was.
Is it cold there this time of the year?
It's freezing. Sky is clear, and you can feel the cold in your lungs, man. It's terrible. It's 20 degrees there every day.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you got done with the leftovers, except for the pie. That's the reason we asked, are you still eating your Thanksgiving leftovers? Because believe it or not, a lot of people still are eating their Thanksgiving leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
I would eat it up till today. Or today, and then throw everything out on
Tuesday
Tuesday.
is kind of the fun.
Well, you're right on the money, Ted. In a new poll, 7% of people say they're still eating leftovers, but food scientists say you need to stop that today. Today is the last day possible. Put together, they say, one last meal, pack it in the freezer, but everything else should be tossed after today. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service recommends throwing out all refrigerated leftovers after 3 to 4 days. If they're kept in the freezer, they can stay good for 3 to 4 months.
Sure.
There is some flexibility, they say, depending on the type of food, but be careful. The smell test is not 100% reliable, and you shouldn't push anything with meat and dairy on your plate. Also, Thanksgiving dishes spoil faster than other leftovers because the food sits out longer after a typical meal. So
that's a good point.
That takes some life off of the foods themselves.
I'm trying to think. It was the last thing I had. My son was still wolfing down ham. That was his big thing, man. But like as of yesterday, it's like no more, dude. Just I know you like it. I know you dig it. I'm glad you're eating it, but like do not feel obligated to finish the rest of this, man. We're not trying to kill your ass.
Yeah, I still have
small amount of stuffing and sweet potatoes. So I'm like, I might fire it up tonight.
What do you feel about pecan pie?
I think pies.
There's a little bit left, and I
longer?
look. I can throw out the rest of the leftovers. I can live with that. Pecan pie, I'm like, but you're so good. You're still there, and you're not done. You know what I mean?
Do the smart thing, right? Like, you're not tonight. At some point, the family's asleep. Like, you're not smoking weed and eating pie because you like to smoke weed. You're doing it to finish the holiday for them, and nobody gets hurt because you're going to eat the rest of the pie.
I've been doing that experiment the last couple of days. Well, everybody's asleep, and weed don't smoke itself, and that pie is awfully delicious. And I started washing it down with eggnog. Made for an interesting morning. I had a dream that I had to poop, and I woke up, and it's like, no, you have to poop.
Right, and I still have my mother with me, right? She's still in the other bedroom in my apartment. She will go home tomorrow morning. But, last night I was like, screw it. I'm going to have some apple pie. And then I was like, screw it. It is Ready Whip.
Okay.
Dude.
So
right.
we
How
always,
many times do you have Ready Whip in your fridge? Like this time of the year, I can guarantee it. Any other time of the year, I don't know.
My sister, people always debate as far as the pie that they like to make. Is it going to be pumpkin pie or are you going to get a pecan pie, whatever the deal is? Those seem to be the two staples.
Yeah.
And I like them both. But my sister did this thing in a Pyrex pan where she put down a layer of pumpkin.
Okay.
So that was on the bottom. And then she put a layer of carrot cake batter in the middle
All
right. of the pumpkin. Then she put roasted pecans that were in kind of a brown sugar whiskey drizzle.
Yeah.
The top of the dish looked like pecan pie. Then you get through and you're into the carrot cake, which is risen about so when it's in the pan, it's kind of lowered, but by the time it's done, it's level to the top. Then you have the carrot cake, and then the pumpkins in the bottom. And I'm like, I don't know who in the F thought this thing up, man. It was one of the best desserts I've ever had. My sister is a great cook. I just never heard of this recipe before.
Was there any crust with it, or is it just pumpkin was the bottom?
The pumpkin was crispy on the bottom end, but the pecans were crispy and caramelized on the top.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And then the cake in the middle was moist and fantastic because of all the things keeping in, the moisture. I could not believe how good this thing was. I'm not really a dessert guy.
Ridiculous.
I'm going back for this.
That sounds. One funny thing that did end up happening on Thanksgiving is, we were debating whether or not any of us serve mac and cheese on Thanksgiving, because most of us do not, right? A lot of people do, but it seems to be a real polarizing thing. So Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, my son's like, "Hey, are we doing macaroni and cheese?" I'm like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'd like macaroni and cheese." So we made mac and cheese. I want to say it's my first Thanksgiving where we had macaroni and cheese.
How did it turn out?
It was fun. It was great. My wife's like, "Man, do we really need this? Because it's just more carbs." I'm like, "Babe, everything we are eating is carbs."
Do you cook the macaroni the whole way through, or do you cook it like halfway? You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to cook in the pan when you bake.
We cook it all the way through, but then we do the whole roux and all this, a whole lot of cheese gets mixed up, so it doesn't dry out too much, man.
I'm just laughing. Mike saw me laughing about that mac and cheese because it reminded me that I knew you were having it. Because Thursday morning of Thanksgiving, I had to run to the grocery store to get some things for my mom, and I see Thrill's wife, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Getting more butter and some Excedrin for my mother." I said, "What are you doing?" She goes, "We got to make mac and cheese now."
Yeah, that's right. She told me
we got to
make
mac and cheese. Yeah,
it's
always butter. Why is it? It's always butter. It's always butter
because you never have enough.
Oh, and milk.
Thanksgiving
and milk.
needs more freaking butter. Actually, ironically enough, so my parents got in Tuesday night. Wednesday night, we take them to the local watering hole. So look, man, a couple of people in there wanted to meet you guys anyway, right? So we go in there, and as we were walking in, I see this big Frankenstein person who I recognize. Like, "Oh, hey, man, what's going on?" It's like, "I'm on my way out," introducing my parents. And then I look, and there's this little old lady waving to me, right? But I'm still kind of talking to, I will call Frankenstein, and I go, "God," just in my head, "that looks like Ted's mom." Then I'm like, "That is Ted's mom." Yeah. Ted was in there with his mother. They were kind of on their way out as we were going in. And Ted's mother, she seemed to be having a good time. She gave my mother the rest of her lemon drop.
Thus the Excedrin.
The lemon drop. That might have something to do with it.
Well, her back is, that's a whole other story. But literally, I had to run in on Thanksgiving, right? So I saw Thrill's wife again. So it was Excedrin, and then I keep buying the, what are those little straps you put around that have heat on them?
Oh, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, and she was there, I believe, to get cheese. I think we needed more cheese. I think that was the deal. Because she was not thrilled about it. I said, "Well, we don't have to do it. It's just a request, right?" But she's like, "No.
Yeah.
I'll do it."
Well, I took the weed oil, like the kind that you rub in.
All right.
For my grandmother.
And I mean, you would think that I was like a miracle worker. Like
Right.
I'm some kind of just like amazing doctor. She's like, this stuff works. And she's just rubbing it in.
It does.
She's got arthritis really bad and she likes to knit. So she did that for like 3 or 4 minutes, which she hasn't been able. She can only do it when she has this stuff. And
Sure.
right now, I'm kind of afraid to mail it because I don't
How
know.
much did you bring enough for her to have for a little bit, or was that basically it?
I can't remember what it's called. It's not Lush, but it's got a one name to it. But it's typically it basically just it feels like baby oil, and you just rub it wherever you hurt. And I mean, I didn't tell her what it was.
You don't need to.
Because,
You don't need.
I
got to make me.
She's 97 years old. She probably thinks she'll get stoned and turn into a Grateful Dead fan or something. So, but man, it was. I was kind of sketched taking it on the plane, but I'm like, you know what?
What is the deal in West Virginia?
You're not going to get high.
Do they have medicinal?
Well, it just matters flying out of SeaTac.
Right.
So I don't think they do.
I would not be surprised if they don't. I don't know if they'd at least turn the corner on medicinal.
Yeah.
The properties of it that help
Right.
people. God forbid you want to help people.
I will tell you this. I went to a bar on Friday night, and
What is it like going to a West Virginia bar? Based
Can
on
I
the
tell you?
bars you're
All
used
right.
to going to in your neighborhood, which is notorious for bars, right? They're all pretty decent. They've all got a certain vibe.
Yeah.
You know, most bars in Seattle. It's like, all right, man. I get
Okay,
it.
so we go to a restaurant called Three Guys. They had
They can't afford 5 guys.
They had 10
Three
different-
guys.
Three guys. It's just 3 guys.
Yeah,
Because the other
just-
2 guys, that's a lawsuit. But yeah, so it's called Three Guys. They have 5 different kinds of pizza. They have Detroit style pizza. They have New York style pizza. They have.
And what
Chicago
town are you in
pizza.
West Virginia?
I'm in Williamson, West Virginia. All right. So we go there. We have a few drinks, and my cousin Leslie says, "I want to take you to a place called Club 12 that's been open since the '60s."
All right.
And she's like, "Yeah, it's a semi-private club. Blah 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 blah. It's in a house." So then we go to Club 12. We pull up in front of a home. Okay. The only thing that you would notice is a handicap ramp going up to the front door. Other than that, it's pretty unassuming as far as
I like that they're handicap compliant, though.
They are. She walks up, takes her keys out of her purse, uses her key to unlock the door. We walk in to this full bar. It is packed. You have to have a key to get in to be a member.
All right.
The drinks are $3 a piece.
All right. And
So
that's
the
like
mixed
full
drink, Jack
cocktails,
and
all
Coke,
that. Okay.
$3. Double, $6. That,
Sure.
That kind of thing. There's a pool table. There are dartboards. There are poker machines where people are playing poker because that's legal. So you can get paid out on a poker machine.
So this place is a legal place.
It's a legal bar. There's 2 bartenders working. Someone's playing the jukebox, spinning all the hits. It's a smoking bar. So this was another thing. I walk into a cloud. This is like Goodfellas or some crap.
Right.
It's like you're in an underground poker room. It was just insane. It was very nice. It was, but people weren't just smoking cigarettes. They were smoking Swisher Sweets. They were smoking full cigars. They got a ventilation system blowing, and it's sucking out a lot of this. You cannot believe how bad you smell, though. It's like you went to Vegas for 4 weeks. When you walk out of there,
But it gotta be kind of nice to sit at a bar as a cigarette smoker and actually smoke a cigarette.
Everybody's nice. Everybody wants to meet you. So this guy, who my mom and my dad and my uncle knew from high school, his name is Richard Wright, Senior. Now he is a preacher man, so he is somewhat.
That's why he's at a private club.
He is, and he is getting it. He's getting it towed up a little bit, so to speak. So I said, "Hey man, I might have accidentally brought something with me. Do you want to go outside and smoke it?" And he's like, "Oh hell yeah!" So the weed he gets there is dirt weed for the most part.
Right.
It's not the best
Right.
weed in the world. So, but I've got a pre-roll from Saints,
Right.
which is pretty good stuff. It's very tasty and light. So we go out in the back of the house. There's a smoking area back there too. You want to sit on a picnic table or whatever, be outside. So we start getting stoned, man. And I mean, he grabs me. He's 74, 75 years old. He grabs my shoulder and we're done. He's like, "Man, you got to help me back in." I'm like, I was like, "Richard, are you all right?" He's like, "I need to sit down." And I was like, he's like, "That is the most powerful weed I've ever smoked in my life." You know, so bring it back in. Very jovial before this. He was bouncing around, talking to everybody.
Yeah.
Now he's on the stool, and he is just not moving. He's kind of just sitting there watching a football game, looking around. And I went over and checked on him a couple times. He was like, "No, man, I'm having a great time." He's like, "I believe it or not." He's like, "I'm having a blast." He's like, "I'm not." He's like, "This is amazing." He's like, "I've never been this high in my life." And I was like, "Well, what do you?" I was like, "Well, at least you're good for for tomorrow." He's like, "Son, I have a Saturday service at 8 a.m. I was like, "Oh no!" He's like,
"Good luck."
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's going to be a rough one, but I will make it short because it's the weekend and it's the holidays." But it was,
that's why.
But that was with
it was pool tabs. It's a house. It's kind of like walking into Bar House in Fremont.
Right.
But
that's cool though, man.
Yeah.
I dig the idea. Club 12. Good name. Sounds cool.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Apparently, it had been around since the 60s, so he told me the whole story behind the bar before we got really, really high. He's like, yeah, man, up until 1974, they would not let me in here. He's like, I've been a member since 1975 at this bar.
Why? Because he's a preacher man?
Because he's black.
Because he's black.
Because he's black.
Yeah, I was like, it's obviously not because he's a preacher.
Because he's black. Also, no women were allowed until 1987. So
What?
it was a gentleman's club.
All right.
Up until then. So that's what they call it. No women were allowed. It was just strictly old white dudes, apparently, until then they started letting the women in. And he said things got better. Things got looser.
Yeah, funny how that
they
works.
They didn't even have women bartenders. Nobody was allowed to work there. It was just
Yeah.
a strange environment. I'm like 1987.
Dude, I have a buddy who's mixed, and he was in the Marine Corps and everything.
Yeah.
So they're in a very small town in Maryland, all right? And they're trying to find some place. They just want to go shoot some guns. So they find a private club or whatever. But like, and the buddy he's with is white. But like, they said they knocked on the door, like the little and like the door opens, closes very quickly, and they're looking at my buddy who's mixed, and the guy's just like, "Do you have a key?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Are you a member?" Like. Basically, just like, what are you doing here? I don't think so. Then the white guy starts talking, and by the time they leave, they're just like, oh, yeah, they clearly don't want black people in here and are shocked that you even knocked on the door.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's these two other dudes.
Can't imagine such a thing.
There's these two other dudes. Now they pull up in an all-terrain, like a Polaris, because trail riding is the big tourist economic thing in that area. There are hundreds of miles. They get the Hatfield and McCoy Trail, all these different trails that run through there, and people take these cars, but they can drive them on the street. So most of the cars on the road there are four-wheelers that have a license plate on, which is just weird. Like everybody's open air, kind of like in a dune buggy.
It's kind of cool though, man.
There's 4 seats in some of these things, 2 seats, and so 2 guys sit down, and they're all in full body camo boots. When they walk in, they smelled like the woods.
Right.
Yeah, and so the bartender said, they were hunting. They've been hunting all day, but they came straight to the bar.
Club 12.
They came to Club 12. And somebody asked, how'd you guys do out there today? The guy unzips his jacket and opens up his jacket. He is covered in blood. He's covered in blood from his neck down to his waist. I mean, his whole shirt is red. I'm just like, oh. So we walk out. There's the deer on the back of this damn thing. And they just left it on there and came in the bar, going to get a couple drinks and go home and string the thing up for the night. And,
So what do you do to be a member?
It's $25 a year, Steve.
$25 a year?
Correct. So the place that I was at before that. Now their mixed drinks were $5. All right. So that's crazy high prices there. So people go to Club 12 because the drinks are only $3, and the draft beer that was $1.50 to $1.75.
What do they have on draft at Club 12?
They had Bud Light, they had Coors Light.
So what you expect?
Budweiser, your standard, American lagers. There's not really a local swill in that area, so to speak.
You guys have an IPA?
A brand called Falls City. They did have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale in bottles.
Okay.
So that's a $2.25. Boston Lager was a $2.25 bottle. They did have the higher end brands, but it was you could not believe. I was like, I got the tab. I'm picking up.
How
the
much
tab.
was it?
Oh, God. The tab?
$30?
It was probably $60. There were 4 of us.
Yeah, $15 a person to drink.
We were also in there for 2 hours. Watching football, watching basketball. Thank God that place exists because there is just nothing else. There's nothing else in that town. But I'm sitting to myself thinking, man, if you had to live here, and this was basically one of the only places you can come. There's only 2 bars. So it's either that one or that one. One's private, one's, the other bar
one
that I used to sleep at, because they had a couple rooms above the bar. I used to stay up there because that's one of the only hotels in town. It was like an old school. It was the original saloon in town.
Like an inn and saloon?
No, it was a frickin' brothel is what it was.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Back in the day, upstairs, you rent a room and it's like $40 a night. So I used to stay there because when my family would come in town, my mom and my grandmother live in a very small house. So there's not enough bedrooms for all the nieces, all the people, and all that stuff. So I'd stay up there because it was convenient just to walk downstairs to Starters. That place closed under shady circumstances.
You don't say.
They lost their liquor license for something that was a little bit more bizarre. But as my cousin Leslie used to say, when I was 16 years old, it was a different name place. And you could go there and you could get a bottle of vodka. And because it's Williamson, no one cared. So she was upset because that's where she used to go when she was
buy her booze?
When she was a kid and drink. She would sit at the bar.
As a kid?
She would sit at the bar in the high school jacket or whatever she was wearing. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like a different. Now, granted, I believe the drinking age was 18 or 19 then.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's bars in college. I feel like in College Park, where I grew up, right? Look, it's a college town, but you're still inside the Beltway. Like, if you've never been there, it's hard to tell where like the city ends and like technically the suburbs. But there was always at least one bar in that town, and it was always the same space. But it would open. We all knew they would take fake IDs and stuff. And then about a year or two later, it would close.
It would close, right.
But I mean, I was in there once. We were in high school. We were drinking 2 pitchers of beer, playing pool like early in the night. And finally, the one dude comes over. He's like, "You guys got your IDs?" And we're like, "Yeah, here you go." They had taken them 10 times. And the guy goes, "We can't take these anymore."
I like
and
that.
we go, "All right, well, it's just us." And he's like, Yeah. Like, you guys finish your pitchers of beer, but then I got to throw you out. Like, you obviously know we're like 18 in
Don't
your bar.
waste the beer, though.
Yeah.
I take the deal, man.
Trust me, we thought it was great.
I swear to God, though, it was like going back to a third world country. You could not believe how depressing it is there.
It sounded depressing. The stuff you're telling me off air. Yeah,
I mean,
sounds
3
depressing.
guys looks kind of nice.
Yeah, 3 guys isn't bad. Like a pizza. They got those garlic knots with the pepperoni rolls.
Yeah, I get it.
Why the hell not? All right, let's see here. Your guess is as good as mine. Cut up the categories: the most sinful cities in America and the states that poop the most. Plus your emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com next.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the men's room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Your guess is as good as mine. Cut up the categories: the most sinful cities in the United States and the states that poop the most. But first, time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
As we jump right into the birthdays, I'm submitting a birthday shout-out request, it says. Adam from Tacoma, Washington, but now stuck in South Dakota, turns 30 today. I hope I'm submitting this correctly. I've been promising my husband, Adam, for the last 4 years now that I would have the men's room do a birthday shout-out for him. and I've failed miserably every year. But that changes now, and right in time for his Dirty 30. So happy birthday to the most wonderful, devoted, and downright sexy man there ever was, and thanks for the best 11 years of my life, and countless memories. So, your awesome wife, Savannah, sends in that message. So, how about the Dirty Germans talking about all the dirty things that we're going to do? And thrilled doing some shotgun gets. I'll thank you guys. That from the lovely Savannah.
Yeah, with a name like Savannah, I can't even guess the beginnings of all she dirty things she's going to do. Her name says, yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, when you cross the savannah, you get to see Amazon River, and the juices flow upwards.
Yeah, go visit the land down under.
Shout out to Savannah. To Adam, she has been on it. She emailed, she hit us up on Facebook, like she
has been
give her some credit.
She failed 4 years in a row, but to give her credit, man, she's making up for it. She's not messing up this time.
Gentlemen, my wife Linda has successfully made it around the big ball 41 times today. 41 years old for the lovely Linda. How about the Dirty Germans giving her some advice? Thanks, guys. That from Squirrel.
Yeah, the one thing that I would suggest is, first of all, you want to find a tall black man that hosts a radio show to celebrate it right. Also, I like the name Squirrel because squirrels always have nuts in their mouth.
That squirrel loves that stuff. Honestly, it's the best advice, 41. So, you want it to be a water-based lubricant.
All the gentlemen. And Ted. My birthday is today. Don't know if they're or if we're there or not. We are here. But as a birthday request, I would love to hear Mike do a Dirty Ringo. And the Dirty Germans, please. Thanks, guys. That from Ethan.
Do the Dirty Germans first. I got to figure out a Ringo, ain't I?
Yeah, how old is Ethan turning?
Does not say.
Yeah, Ethan, your age is very important before I suggest what it is you should do. But let's assume you're over the age of 18. Yeah, go find yourself a prostitute. Pay her well.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is the next guy's voice you're going to hear is the move you should use tonight. It's the Ringo.
The Dirty Ringo.
The Dirty Ringo.
That sounds worse than the sex move.
The Dirty Ringo's my specialty, huh? We don't know how old you're turning. You like things behind closed doors. Yes, I've got a young, fine lady who will show you her strawberry fields forever.
Gentlemen, John is the oldest of 5 boys. He is 61 today. He is and always has been a great big brother. However, he has a few John-isms that we would like to point out. If anyone wants to meet John, just visit the Kitsap Mall during the Walk the Mall time. Look for the old guy pushing a stroller. We wish we could tell you he was pushing a grandchild, but we cannot. He's pushing his little dog, Reese. John talks to Reese, which isn't too weird, but he answers for him as well. Anyway, we love you, John. How about Mickey and Goofy talking about the strangest thing that they have seen being pushed around in a baby stroller at one of their parks? Happy birthday, that from Dad, Jerry, Jamie, Jimmy, and Jay.
Well, gosh, I'll tell you what. As a young pup myself, Mickey used to push me around in a baby stroller, but you don't want to know the little sweet nothings he'd whisper in my ear. But I'll tell you what, if you want to get a job, just be accepting.
You know, you got to start with them young. Make sure to teach them how to bite people to get away with it. Also, the strangest thing that's ever allowed in the parks, some whack job brought a snake. I'm a mouse. No snakes. Throw them out of the park, Miles, right on their butt.
I don't blame you.
Some whack job.
Yeah. Did you guys see the story about the guy who stripped down naked at Disneyland and It's a Small World?
I did not.
They paused the ride for a little bit for some mechanical issue or whatever. So he takes off all his clothes and basically jumps into the ride. So he's like up with all the people singing and everything.
Butt naked.
Then he gets in a pool and whatever, and he's butt naked. Then he walks around outside. They finally arrested him. But yeah, that's a unique place to get naked. Is in a place called It's a Small World.
I was going to say, I would not want to get naked in a place where it's a small world. You know, maybe it's just my ego.
How about a large world?
Yeah.
Here I am.
You know what? I still have never been on that ride.
I think I did it in Disneyland when I was like 5. My parents were just asking me, do you remember going to Disneyland? We went twice, and I said, man, I remember that we went. I don't remember any of my experience there except one. You guys got me the mouse ears. I do remember that because I was very excited for those. And the only freaking ride I remember being on is It's a Small World. Mm-hmm. I can remember that.
Look, perfectly. When I got the Mickey Mouse ears was probably in the late 70s or mid 70s when they opened Disney World. So it was only open for a couple of years. They would embroider your name in the back of the hat.
They still do.
Oh, they still do that?
You got to pay a little extra.
Okay. I just remember mine. I had my name on it. I was like, this is so cool.
And there's Mickey ears for everything. There's the classic ones for children. There's bride ones. There's groom ones. There's like adult birthday ones. Like the Mickey ears are a big product.
Yes. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's world famous sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Bob. Let's get a contestant on the line for your guess is as good as mine now. 206-803-ROCK. Couple extra emails. Thanksgiving gone wrong. Gentlemen, my most memorable Thanksgiving gone wrong was in the late 80s when Dad got drunk again and cooked a family dinner. He was a functional drunk, like the time he cut a frozen salmon with a circular saw, chipping the steel sink in the process and coating everything with salmon bits. This year, though, he screwed up the turkey. I forget how. So when everyone sat down, he presented us with some sides of potatoes, cranberries, and the main course of top ramen with bits of mystery meat and veggies. Mom was pissed. Big family holiday dinners, that's her thing. But she kept her game face on, and we ate in an uncomfortable silence, while Dad mumbled incoherently as he ate like the crazies on 3rd Avenue. But the peak of discomfort came when he announced loudly to everyone at the table, I want to get an erection.
Jeez.
Then he returned to mumbling. That side of the family never visited us again on Thanksgiving. Fun times. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Big congrats on 4,000 plus shows, and thanks for making me laugh again and again. That from Barry. Subject, green bean casserole.
Oh, boy.
Gentlemen, catching up on the show via the Odyssey app, and I heard yesterday's discussion on green bean casserole. Now, while I agree that the stuff is one of the most repugnant as part of my Turkey Day spread, beat out only by Stouffer's stuffing, I do think it's pretty badass that the woman who invented it while working for Campbell's Soup is named Dorcas.
Dorcas?
Dorcas Riley, to be exact. Not only does she carry a spectacularly unique moniker, but she passed it on to her daughter and granddaughter, Dorcas Tarbell and Dorcas Frangos, respectively. How perfectly does that fit into the inventor of the dish? Anyway, love the show. Congrats on 4,000 plus, and hope you guys enjoy your holidays. Regards. That from the lovely Courtney. And speaking of shows, 4,000.
I did not have any green bean casserole.
I did not either.
I didn't, but I did have green beans. Man, were they good.
We made green beans, right, but no casserole.
These were from the garden. I can't tell you how much difference.
Ooh.
They were jarred, but they were still. They still tasted
You know
really
what? I'm
fresh.
with you. We had green beans. It just wasn't a casserole. They were awesome.
Mm-hmm. Bacon in there, onions.
You didn't have any?
I didn't have any.
I thought that was your thing.
Yeah, I know it was.
Why did they let you make it?
I don't know why I did. There was just no green bean casserole on that table.
Was this
Did you
your
bring
family?
No,
or her
it was the ladies' family.
Did you bring the salad?
We did bring the salad. It was a hit. They loved the salad.
Would you have made green bean casserole if you knew for a fact of it?
Yes, I would have.
That also seems weird. If
I
that's
would've
your
insisted.
dish,
I
then
know.
you should be able to bring it.
I would have insisted.
I'm pissed now.
Bastards.
For you.
Men's Room memorable moments, guys. I have several memorable moments dating back to when I started listening in 2017 when you still had your syndication on WCMF in Rochester, New York. And I'd like to share a couple of those. First one is back in 2018. Thursday, right after Big Dummy. Right as you were starting Ted's Meat and Potatoes, the fire alarm went off as you guys were on the air. Yeah. You could hear it in the background, an automated voice telling people to evacuate. Ever since then, I've always wondered what was the cause of that alarm and what you guys would have done if you actually had to evacuate. I don't really ever think that we've come up with a plan if there was seriously a fire while we were on the air.
I mean,
I know
just would have
plan.
left.
I know my plan. I'm going to leave.
Okay.
There's a fire in the building. We are not first responders.
But we just weren't sweating it. It's like, I don't smell any smoke. There's no heat, so whatever, man. We'll keep doing the show.
Yeah, but there's also 40-some floors on this building, and we're in...
Correct. It could be any, and it's different elevator shafts. I mean, there's a whole reason for us to ignore their obvious demands. Did you hear yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
NFL Red Zone. Scott Hanson's doing his thing, right? And they got that thing playing in the background, and there's Scott Hanson. Hey, this is the first time. And I didn't really notice at first. And then he goes, you might hear it in the background. And they had the exact same fire alarm we do, right? That kind of beep.
Oh.
But much like us, he's saying, we're told that we have to evacuate. The control room's been told that they have to evacuate, and they're telling me on the stage right now, we have to evacuate. But first, our top 5 plays. So, right?
Oh, yeah, because it was at the end.
And then he comes back, and, like, there's another, 10 minutes of him going on before they finally stop. I mean, they still did what Red Zone's going to do. Here's the plays he didn't hammer. We told you every touchdown. This just happened in this game. Boop, boop. So did he finally leave or what? Because I finally flipped over so I could watch the rest of that Eagles game. I didn't see the very end of the broadcast. I just know 10 minutes before that he's saying how we must go. But first,
I mean, they showed every touchdown from every game.
I mean, so basically they just ignored the hey, you got to go. They're like, we will, but first every touchdown from every game.
Because I didn't say that. I had a very long day, so I only got to see the last part of Red Zone and then finally crack a beer, and then I watched every touchdown for every game. I was like, that was awesome. And then, I still switched over to watch the end of that Eagles game.
So basically, they finished their broadcast.
Yeah.
It's wrapped up. But I'll let you think. Well, they're telling us we got to leave right now.
I will say this. He did not talk much. Because before the top 5 plays, I was like, this is odd. Because I'm trying to explain Red Zone to my mother, who's never seen it. And I'm like, he's usually talking.
Sure.
So maybe he left and they just played him.
I guess.
And guys, the second memory I had occurred during a TV time with Ted. This was back when Trump was president. I don't know exactly what you were talking about, but Ted made reference back to the show Celebrity Apprentice. However, he did not say Celebrity Apprentice. He accidentally said Celebrity A Penis.
It's a celebrity a penis.
Hey. Manja. Always funny stuff to beat the ball.
Celebrity a penis.
That from Paul, your loyal blind listener in Appleton, Wisconsin. All right, time for a little your guess is as good as mine. What's that?
Well, I'm just saying at the top, he's like, you guys were syndicated to WCMF in Rochester. Mm-hmm. But I live in Appleton, Wisconsin.
That's right.
We were syndicated out to Appleton, Wisconsin.
No, I know. And you just thought you would reference the station you heard us on, not one just somewhere else random.
Oh, we just lost our contestant on your guess is as good as mine.
We did.
Okay, so you guys are going to be playing amongst yourselves, I guess. All right, to the 2 categories, we have which state poops the most. And we have the 2023 list of the most sinful cities in America. Again, this is based on anger and hatred like violent crimes, jealousy, fraud, identity theft, excesses and vices, drinking, fast food joints, drug overdoses. We have greed, which they consider casinos, gambling, lust, adult entertainment, vanity, tanning salons and plastic surgery, and laziness as far as volunteerism rates and exercise rates. So do you guys want to go with the most sinful cities in America, or do you want to go with the states that poop the most?
Ted, I'm leaning poop. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Look, I feel like sinful cities would just be easier. The states that poop the most, someone sent in a text earlier, which makes sense. They go, look, man, the states that eat a whole lot of meat, they probably don't poop as much.
All right.
Because you brought up Missouri and South Carolina and said they don't poop much. And I'm like, you got to be kidding, but it makes sense, right?
Need that fiber.
Okay, I'll give you a list of 34 through 50.
What are you thinking? Are you good with poop? You want to go
poop?
sit? All
All
right.
right. So I'll give you the states 34 through 50 to try to narrow this down a little bit.
All right.
Because it's all over the board. So 34 is Mississippi. 35 is the state of Utah, followed by Massachusetts, Wisconsin. They're probably backed up from all the cheese. South Dakota, Hawaii, Florida, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Louisiana, Ohio, South Carolina, Indiana, Montana, and Missouri. Those are the states that poop the least. The way we play this game is you try to get as many right in said category before 3 strikes and you're out. The category, the states that poop the most based on a nationwide survey of a bunch of people. By the way, the state that poops the most, they poop about 2.25 times a day compared to Missouri. Those residents only poop once. To give you an idea, there's about a poop and a half difference between...
I'll say California.
California is actually number 19 on the list. They do not poop the most.
Okay, I'm thinking Vermont.
Vermont is number 5. All right. That is correct.
I'm going to theory of they ain't a whole lot of meat. They're eating their fibers. So with that, I would go Oregon.
Oregon comes up at number 23 on the list.
Washington.
The
state of Washington.
Believe it or not, comes in at 15. We poop an average of 1.701 times.
I'm on the higher end of that.
I definitely am. Well, we're out of the category as far as you're getting them wrong, but do you want to keep guessing to see if you can get anything?
Colorado
is number 26.
Damn.
They poop 1.5 times per day.
Idaho.
Where is Idaho?
A lot of starch in there, man.
Idaho.
I'm thinking they're backed up.
Oh, Idaho's number 2, Ted.
Really?
Yes.
That was my good
Wow.
call. How about Hawaii?
They poop 2.177.
No, they were low end. They already called them.
I'm going to guess Maryland because we eat a lot of seafood.
Oh, yeah.
The state of Maryland is number 24.
Damn it.
In the world of poop.
How about Nevada?
Nevada. They don't do too bad. I think they are number 28.
Okay.
The average Nevadan poops 1.5 times per day.
Where are the old people? Florida.
Florida was on the low end list.
Yeah, it was on the low.
Have we already said Arizona?
I think the older you get, the less you use the bathroom.
You think?
It seems that way.
I would strongly disagree.
Okay. All right.
Spent a week with an 80-year-old.
Personal experience.
Arizona's not a bad call, though, Ted. I don't think we had that one.
Arizona. Desert poops. Why can't I see Arizona? Arizona, you're right, number 7.
All right.
On the list. So you've got 7 Arizona, 5 Vermont, and 2 Idaho.
How about next door at New Mexico?
New Mexico. New Mexico comes in at... where in the hell is New Mexico on this list? New Mexico. Oh, they're number 25 on the list. They poop 1.5 times a day as well.
How about Maine?
Maine.
Seafood and granola.
Maine is number 10.
All right.
Yes.
New Hampshire. Did anybody say New Hampshire?
No.
New Hampshire. Where's New Hampshire?
It's up in
the
the
Northeast.
Upper East.
No, I understand that. I'm just trying to see where they are on the list. New Hampshire is number 20. They poop 1.6 times.
But I can't even think of what states.
I picked the wrong category.
All
We're
right.
doing terrible.
This is a tough one.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason.
How about New Jersey?
New Jersey's number 3. They poop a whole lot. Almost 2 times a day in New Jersey.
Yeah. And keep it clean down there.
How about Massachusetts?
That was on the low end.
That was on the low end.
That was on the low end.
Did we say
New York.
New York was on the low end?
New York on the low end.
Wyoming? Did we say Wyoming?
Wyoming's number 8.
Really?
Yes. When VD moves there, he will poop a lot.
That's just all the veggies.
1.798 poops per day.
I just figured Wyoming would be on the super low end.
All right, I'll give you guys the rundown here. Coming in at number 10, that would be the state of Maine, 1.7 poops per day. Virginia at number 9. They poop about the same.
Out of the mouth.
Followed by Wyoming at 8. Arizona comes in at number 7. Number 6 is the state of Illinois. Followed by number 5, Vermont. They poop 2 times a day. Iowa poops 2 times a day at number 4. New Jersey is 3. Idaho is 2. The state that poops the most by a large margin.
Large margin.
Believe it or not, the state of Michigan. They poop more than anyone else in the United States of America.
Well, you know why that is.
I don't.
They just want to see the maize. Maize is a Native American word for corn.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the maize and blue. So if you eat that much maize,
gotcha.
you want to see how you're doing.
I blew out the maize.
Iowa's at number 4 on the list, so you might
See, I might have a decent theory with this.
Ted, you got long arms to reach that far, buddy.
Just say it. Hey, Mike, every time you eat corn, you know how your system's doing. If you see it the next morning, we're good to go.
That's right.
It's been a while.
If it's been a couple days, you need some fiber.
Coming up, we'll drink and toast with a shot of the day. You are listening to the Men's Room.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up minutes, we'll drink a toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. A new study found that being attractive helps men get ahead at work more than women.
Okay. Either way, be attractive.
Correct.
That seems to be long story short.
Not sure I can control that.
Right. Being attractive has its advantages. However, there's only so much we can all do. That's why we're all in radio.
That is precisely it, yes.
The joke writes itself, and we hear it all the time. It's the most hilarious joke I ever hear. You really have a face for radio.
No, thanks. Mm-hmm.
There's a new trend of helicopter parents setting up play dates for their adult children.
Oh, my God.
Look, if they're an adult, they can't make friends. That's different.
Correct. Well, and I was talking about this with my wife earlier. Play dates for adults, that's just going to the bar. That's going to a ball game. That's
right. Watching a game.
Right.
Getting together for a dinner. And having a cookout at somebody's house. That's a play date.
At the end of the day,
we just call it a get-together, but yeah, it's basically the adult play date.
Exactly. There's a handful of places that you can go and meet people to have these adult play dates, but it's like, do you really isolate yourself that much to where your mom said, "Oh, Steven, we got to get you out of here. We need to get you some friends."
I'll let you in on a secret. If that's what you need to do, then people don't want to play with you.
Correct.
That's all. Like your mom said.
Or you don't want to play with other people.
Maybe that's it.
Right?
Maybe they're just not interested.
Your kid's a loner. All right, cool.
Let your kids be adults.
Right.
It's all right.
It's fine. They can do it. It's good. Nothing showers are becoming a trend.
And some people are just throwing showers, but they're not having a baby. They're not getting married.
This is literally a shower, Ted. This isn't like a baby shower.
I was like, all right, damn.
So it also said in the story that everything showers were trending there for a while, which is basically they said an hour-long to 2-hour-long shower, and you basically treat it like a spa treatment. You're doing everything there in the shower.
It'll cost you about the same.
I was about to say, the water bill that you're going to go through, as well as the gas bill to heat it up if your house is on gas on that one. But then
my water bill is insane for no reason. Mm-hmm. It is crazy high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my most expensive bill.
Right.
I'm like, I don't use that much water. What the hell's going on?
I'm not here most of the day.
Right, I know. Who's in my home using all this water?
Do I have a toilet running?
Exactly. My heater's running all day long, keeping the house nice and warm for my cold-ass wife. But the water bill, that's the one that runs all the way up. But then they were talking about the nothing shower, which is something that I've done myself a handful of times. It's just basically you don't do anything. You just stand in that shower and just let the hot water hit you.
That's generally how I take a shower anyway. I mean, I clean myself, but after that, I'm chilling.
But the cleaning yourself takes all of about 2 minutes at the very end of just standing in there.
That is correct.
I think it also kind of depends on what day it is. You know what I mean?
Get that Saturday morning.
Yeah, if you had a long Friday night or a long Saturday night, like you had a long Friday night, that Saturday shower, I am guilty of it. Just standing there, just like, it's just hitting the back of my neck for a while. Then eventually, I have done it before where I've almost turned off the water and then been like, oh crap, we never even used the soap. You got to turn it back on. You just got to get stuck in the steam and it's so relaxing.
Just got to open up the pores a little bit and let the booze breathe out of your skin. Yeah, I've been there.
And you know me, I like to shower. So sometimes, even just getting off planes, I'm always like, let me get a quick shower.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? Sometimes I hate taking 2 showers in a day, but there are times when it's like, I just got to clean this off.
Oh, yeah. And if I'm on vacation, like in a hotel room, and the shower's right there, Like, yeah, I'm showering at least twice, if not 3 times a day.
Hell
Start
yeah,
the day
dude.
with it, end of the day with it, maybe a midday shower.
So you actually have a reason to be packing like 3 times as many clothes as you actually need.
Hey, look, when you take a midday shower and you really haven't done anything, you're just doing it because it's a nice shower.
Yeah.
Like, you put back all the same clothes.
That's fact.
It wakes me up.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm like, all right, I feel better now.
I'm with you, man. However, I will say, at the end of an auction night, take off the tux, just jump in the shower real quick. That's a confident. That's a victory shower. Grab a beer.
Usually, if I shower in the evening, it's usually like a Sunday evening, like Sunday Night Football's not on yet. The food's about ready for dinner. Like, let's take a long, hot shower and ease into this night.
We got it done today.
I got to slow myself down.
You know when else you would take a nothing shower? A time when you do actually need to warm up because it's the winter time. It's getting cold outside.
Yeah.
Things are cooling down way too damn much, and sometimes we leave our car in places that that get super chilled down, and sometimes we leave things in our car that get super chilled down, and some of those things we shouldn't. VD,
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 things you'll regret leaving in your car this winter. Well, I can think of a few things. Maybe a paper map with directions to a national forest.
A loved one.
Maybe some power tools or perhaps a pickaxe. Maybe even a pair of soiled gloves. That's about all that comes to mind.
has anybody checked on him in a while? His truck's been in the shop for a minute.
I know, man. Still in there. Well, I guess it was the holidays. They probably shut down.
So these are some things that you'll regret leaving in your car this winter. Last up on the list, they say ice scrapers and snow brushes. And I've been there.
Why is it bad to leave them in there?
Think about it. You get out there, your car is completely covered in snow. It's all over the place, but then you really wish you had a snow brush to be able to get into your car to grab your snow brush.
To grab the snow brush, right.
And your ice scraper.
Oh, I see.
Right. The ice scraper, not so much, because then you get in, you fire up the car, let it start to heat up, get the defroster going, and then you can scrape it off as you're going. But that snow brush, man, it's not imperative. It keeps the snow from falling into your car at least a little bit. It quells it. It keeps your hands from getting just soaked in the snow that's there. Again, not the end of the world, but it's
a little ticky-tacky thing, but sure.
It is. They go with pets on this one. We've all heard about not leaving our pets in a hot car. Well, a cold car does just as bad. It says in general, leaving your fluffy friend in the car is probably never a good idea, and it's especially true in colder temperatures. By locking the car, you're increasing the chance of your pet freezing to death.
I don't know anyone who's done that. No,
Right.
I don't either.
I did take the dog for, I forget where we were going, maybe to pick up the wife from work or something like that, but I threw him in the car, and he immediately started shivering. He was not having a good time at all. Yeah, little wire hair guy. He doesn't do too well in the cold.
In the cold?
Oh, yeah.
If I'm running into 7-Eleven, I'll leave them in there.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it's running in there real quick to grab a pack of gum.
Right, not like leave him in overnight.
Right.
Where's the dog? He's in the car.
He's ready to go. He's excited for tomorrow.
He's got his head hanging out the window.
Look, it hasn't moved.
Come on, man.
Start out the window with 2 paws pressed against the glass.
Oh, God. Medicine, they say. Some drugs like insulin can actually lose their effectiveness if they freeze. Make sure to remove any drugs from the pharmacy from your car or risk wasting expensive medicine thanks to the cold. I just don't recommend you have your drugs in your car at all.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's one of the first places they check.
Right, if you need them that bad, probably take them with you.
I've done it, though. Because I have some prescriptions that just get automatically refilled.
Sure.
But you're not out. So it's like I did it this weekend. I was like, crap, I left that prescription just sitting in my trunk.
Exactly. You get it before you come into work, and then it gets in.
I shouldn't have, though, because it was cold.
It was cold.
Yeah.
Now they're not as effective, Ted.
Nope.
Here comes the gout. Things that you'll regret leaving in your car this winter. They go with musical instruments. Have you ever left your bass in the car, Mr. Hell?
No.
I remember in school when I was playing the trombone, there was a couple times that I left the trombone in its case, but in the car, and that is a frosty piece of brass that you're pulling out at the end of that. They say the last thing that your string, brass, or woodwind instrument needs is to be sitting out in the extreme cold. Freezing temperatures can completely tear up your instruments, warping the wood, the strings, or even the valves.
Yeah.
So basically, oil it down if you did.
I would try not to leave it out there.
Right. Do your best.
Say there's a guy I saw him at the airport. It kind of this SE-looking acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's with the guitar? It was just kind of beat up. And he played, over the summer, he would play beaches of Mexico. And he goes, no, I have nice guitars. And I made the mistake of doing it once. All the salt water off the beach Never thought about it. So it corroded everything I had. Warped the. He's like, right. So I dropped like $120 on some cheap ass acoustic guitar. Take that to Mexico, and then I don't get mad at myself.
There you go.
All right.
Things that you'll regret leaving in your car this winter: canned foods. Not only can canned foods expand and explode like a carbonated beverage, but they can also break the seal and spoil the foods inside the can. If your food did freeze in the car, it's recommended to thaw it in the refrigerator. If the food looks or smells bad, then you open it, throw it out, especially if it seems rusted.
Yes.
Interesting. I don't know anybody that keeps food in their car like that. I know people who carry like cases of bottled water or Gatorade in their trunk.
Yep. We did that for a while.
I don't know anybody.
But I think it's much like what Ted was talking about with prescriptions. You know, you're on the way to work, so you stop at the store real quick. Hey, I need a can of beans. I need a can of this, whatever. And maybe you grab a couple things extra that you just forget about in the back of your car because you just kind of went through your daily routine.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm guilty of it sometimes with Costco. Like, I just will buy a case of their hard seltzers because they're cheap and I like them.
Hell yeah.
But then I don't need them. So sometimes you're right. Like, they'll sit in my trunk for and then it's like, all right, like, I'm ready to go. It's in the trunk.
I rescued 2 cases of beer yesterday. The beauty is they were nice and frosty.
I was about to say, that's the beauty of this time of year where you're not quite freezing temperatures out here yet. So now those Blue Mountains are coming out, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Carbonated beverage they go with. Soda is not the only beverage to explode in freezing temperatures. Other popular carbonated beverages, beer, seltzer water, also don't stand a chance. But again, this time of year, it's not the end of the world if they just sit there in the trunk.
Well, now they're in the garage, but not the fridge.
There you
Still
go.
cold.
There you go. It's perfect. Baby formula, which that one I don't quite get why I don't know how much formula people need to buy at any one given time. I know that they go through it like crazy, but
it's also canned. So like Infanil and Similac, it's all in cans. So probably the same philosophy as just being a canned food product. It's could explode or something.
It actually can separate in freezing temperatures, which can ultimately make it
shake
inedible.
You really got to shake it now.
God, did you guys ever get the cartons of milk going through school that had just been a little bit too close to the cold of the fridge, and so they actually get little ice pellets in it?
Oh, yes.
That was the worst one to get, dude. That sucked.
I felt like I got it 2 out of 5 days a week.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of beverages. Like we were talking about those ice cold beers have been sitting in your trunk, but there's a thin line between that and like you left them in the freezer and now they're slushy.
Yes,
because I don't want ice in it.
No,
and you gotta really pay attention to those things. Mike, look, when I was a kid, every soda came in glass bottles.
Yeah,
so that was always like a thing. When you'd put one in the freezer, so you could have a cold Coca-Cola.
I won't forget about it.
Yeah,
oh my
right.
God! I mean, I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like as a child there was exploded Coca-Cola in our freezer like every other day. I'm sure it wasn't that much, but you're just like, it happened again.
Yeah,
I won't forget.
And I didn't know that was a problem when I was a kid, but I found it out very quickly because I wanted a soda and I wanted it rather quickly. I didn't know the effects of leaving it in there too long. So I had it in there for like 15, 20 minutes or something.
Because as a kid, I don't want to pour it in a glass and simply, I don't know, use ice cubes.
Add ice, right.
I'm going to put the whole thing in the freezer.
Exactly.
And I forget every time.
And then I think I came back like an hour later or something like that, like, oh, okay.
I did it with a beer fairly recently. I'm like, I won't forget because I want beer. I totally forgot. Then I'm like, oh no. And that ship had sailed.
Right. Kids want the thing to be cold, but also like, I don't know what the age is, but you give them a bottle of soda and a glass of ice, like it's spilling.
Oh, yes. That's another
it's
thing.
like a guarantee. So it's like, I don't know.
One hole's bigger than the other, and you're pouring the small one into the big one. How do you miss this? Doggone it.
I remember my sister did it all the time. My dad would always say, just let me pour it. No, I promise I won't do it tonight. Yep. It's spilled everywhere.
Doggone it. Eggs. That's one that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but hey, sometimes people forget their eggs. We all know to check for cracked eggs when buying a carton. It can also happen when eggs are left out in frozen temperatures. It says, however, if you do end up leaving eggs out and they're perfectly intact yet frozen, they are still salvageable. After bringing those eggs to room temperature, it's recommended to only hard-boil eggs that have been sitting in frozen climate.
Okay.
It's interesting. Bacteria and all that. But the number one thing that you will regret leaving in your car this winter, and honestly, it doesn't know any given season, but not for the reasons they call out, but cell phones, tablets, or laptops. Cold weather can take quite a toll on your electronic batteries. Apple actually suggests that having your electronics outside below 32 degrees Fahrenheit isn't good for them, and the performance of your electronics will suffer. Also, side note, if you leave an electronic inside of your car that is visible to anybody, it's not going to be there by the time you get back to your car.
Also, the sunlight. I did not realize that. I did, like the tablet was like, can't work, like too much direct sun. I was like, oh, wow.
Right. I'm glad it tells you that, though.
And don't forget, if it's in a cold car and then the sun comes up and hits it just right, that
correct
instant heat's going to warp it to the point that, it's going to crack and Now you really can't use it. A wanted woman in Florida was finally tracked down by police, and Miles, you will never believe where they found her.
Where did they find her?
Give you all the details at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Coming up at 5:50, we will have your headlines. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground, the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1 exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
All right, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed, and not to be somber, but I believe this is definitely worth our time to do today. Today, we want to toast 70-year-old Steve Poole, who most of you probably remember for being on Como since 1977, technically. Here's the thing about him. He passed on November 21st from early onset of Alzheimer's. I guess it is something he'd been battling privacy, but like a lot of people, it's not something you're trying to make public. But as far as being a broadcaster, I like this. So he was an intern, 1974, okay? He goes to Como as an intern, still at UW. He gets hired full-time 3 years later, as soon as he graduates from UW. And believe it or not, I was not here in Seattle for this. Before he covered weather, he covered sports and hard news. Right? So he's an all-around reporter. And then he became the chief weather forecaster in 84. So not a meteorologist, but the chief weather forecaster back in 1984. And obviously, that is the gig that most of us knew and loved him from. I don't know if you knew this. How many times do you think he got called up to Good Morning America to fill in? Right? Because, look, if you're in broadcast,
it's a big deal.
If you're doing TV news broadcast, Good Morning America is going to call your ass to say, hey, fill in. That is a huge, huge deal. 70 times.
70?
70.
Nice.
70 times my man got to fill in on Good Morning America. He retired here in 2019 after 42 years on the air. And we actually had the advantage to meet him one time. And I will tell you this, because I kind of made fun of him when I met him, Because when you saw him on TV, he was just this real. It's like the Black Bob Ross. Here comes the weather guy. This is going to be. So we met him at Hard Rock Cafe, and we're like, oh man, Steve Poole, dude, what is up, baby? He was like the coolest dude,
the coolest guy in the room.
Anywhere, hands down, man. And you never would have guessed it. And then, as you start talking to other people that work locally, both on the air, people that worked in local bars, restaurants, like he and his buddies were always the life of the party. When they showed up, man, like a good time was coming, man. So, yeah, he passed November 21st. Just want to pay our respects to a fellow broadcaster who did a bang-up job, man.
Yeah. Everybody in this city I've ever talked to that, like, had interaction with, everybody's like, man, Steve Poole was the man, and he was such a nice dude.
He was super nice, super cool. I mean, seriously, Miles was right. He was like the coolest guy in the room. You wouldn't have known it for how he did the weather, but, man, if you're out with him, it's like, this is the guy whose table you want to sit at.
He actually calmed you down by watching him.
He did, but that was his whole thing. He understood what he was doing. And he's like, man, I'm doing TV. And the weather here, let's face it, it can be severe, it's crazy, unpredictable. I think we'd all agree on that. So he's like, it's important to be a soothing voice when you're explaining to people that, hey, the wind's going to pick up to 75 tomorrow. It's going to rain for the next 127 days. But yeah, when he was off air, man, it was, what is up? 3-part handshake. I'm like, this guy is the man.
Enjoyed a beer?
Yeah. Yes, he did, man. He was a cool dude. So Steve Poole, man, I wish you well on the other side, brother. But in the meantime, we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Thrill-Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can. Miles, a quick text for Mike. It says, I wonder how many people are taking stuff out of their car right now.
That's a good call.
That is a very good call.
You're welcome.
So it's a simple game to play, Miles, where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola. All right, Hefe, you understand how this here game is played?
I do, sir.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of 3 stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone. And new, we have the category autoerotica, where basically you guess the vehicle involved in the crime.
After Thanksgiving, I think interior decorating. I was hoping to get bite me, but let's go interior decorating, brother.
All right, interior decorating it is. A 37-year-old man was rushed to a hospital in Indonesia and told doctors he was suffering from severe abdominal pain. Now, they were shocked when the patient revealed that he had inserted something into his penis during masturbation, but he could not remove it. So the patient, who was not identified, also complained of difficulty urinating, and he had blood in his urine. According to doctors, it took him a while to confess that he had, in fact, inserted the object into his urethra when his penis was erect. Now, the doctors who treated him, they noted that cases of insertion of objects into the urinary tract are relatively rare, but they've been on the rise in recent decades. Who knew? Now, the patient, who is a virgin, told doctors it's the first time that he put anything in his urethra, even though he was masturbating and watching porn every day. Why he felt the need to add all of that, I don't know. But doctors performed a bladder flush. That's a procedure in which sterile fluid is inserted through a catheter into the bladder to remove blockages. And the hope is that it'll also remove the object, but that procedure didn't work. They then performed a cystoscopy with the camera inserted to the bladder, so the doctors could see exactly what was inside. And the doctors noticed a blockage and finally managed to remove it by inserting a particularly thin and long pair of tweezers. Let that sink in for a second. Now, the patient, who remained under observation, yeah, you should be closing your legs right now. Well, the guy stayed there for 2 more days before he was finally returned to his mother's house, completely recovered. So the question is, imagine telling your mom that. So the question is, what did he slip into his fleshy cyclops eye? Was it a straw, a wooden match, a Q-tip, or nylon thread? So a straw, a wooden match, a Q-tip, or nylon thread. One of these 4 things he chose to insert.
Wow. And does it say how old this Indonesian virgin was?
37.
37, still living with Mom. Dang, I don't know, man. Thread, I don't know how you'd get a thread in there, but if you had a will, what do you guys think?
Jeff, I'm going to go straw.
Yeah, I don't know. Tweezers and a straw, maybe. What do you think, Ted?
I don't know why, but I think this is one of those, a match, one of those fancy match books.
Yeah, the wood, specifically
the wooden
match.
one. Yeah, it could withstand this kind of pressure.
It did not sign up for the
stand.
stand.
No sense whatsoever. I think I'm going to stick with thread because I don't know how I'd get it in there, but you couldn't get it out.
Okay.
I could show you.
What was stuck in his urethra? Was it a straw, a wooden match, a Q-tip, or nylon thread? We're going to find out next.
That was a tease.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
If you're a business owner, you know these sounds mean sales. And from the sound of it, your business is growing. Whether you're fulfilling orders from your home office or warehouse, Stamps.com helps you stress less about mailing and shipping and spend more time doing what you love most. Listening to ASMR. I mean, growing your business. But as you grow, so does the need for efficiency. Stamps.com simplifies your shipping and mailing process. Import orders from wherever you sell online. Find the lowest rates with the fastest delivery times. Instantly deliver tracking updates to your customers. And buy shipping and mailing supplies when you run low. Save time and money on mailing and shipping. Get started at Stamps.com today with code PROGRAM for a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
On our category, interior decorating on Profile this, we got a man who was rushed to the hospital. He had some abdominal pain, and that he inserted something in his urethra, which obviously went way up there. Doctors were, however, able to successfully remove the object. So what did he stick in his urethra? Was it a straw, a wooden match, a Q-tip, or nylon thread?
And Jeff, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us begin with Miles Montgomery. Miles, you went with the straw? No, it was not a straw. The Ted Smith, you went with a fancy old style wooden match.
It comes in the box.
No, it was not a wooden match.
No.
And Jeff, you went with thread? You are correct,
no way.
sir. So that was the problem. It was a nylon thread, and as you may have guessed, once it gets up there, it just coils in and among itself because he did not think maybe to leave a little bit on the outside. So I don't know what, but again, nylon thread's a little stiffer than a string, so he managed to push it all the way in, not considering what now. Damn.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, don't say.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
I thought I'd come in here. It was a nice little break on Thanksgiving and talk about how exciting some football was. And I won't lie, my Thanksgiving dinner was phenomenal. My buddy cooked a turkey. That was great. There was a prime rib. Ooh, we make some potato pie. That's awesome. Brussels sprouts, anything you think of. We made the stuffing. So we got dinner, sat down. We missed maybe half of the first quarter. Boom, we're going to watch this Seahawks game. Damn it, Miles, it sucked. They were bad. And I mean, me and Mike were talking about it earlier. Like, obviously, there's a lot of teams, Dallas and Detroit always play on Thanksgiving.
Of course.
But for most other teams, you're kind of excited. And it's the evening game. So, I mean, we thought we had timed it out. People couldn't have been more excited. And then, it just went downhill fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of to the point. And, look, I get it. The Seahawks did it to the Niners years ago when they sat on the field and ate the turkey legs. But watching the Niners, not just the two players of the game, it seemed like their entire team or their entire offense out there eating turkey meat, and then they're throwing it in the stands. All their fans are there. I'm like, Jesus, that is fun, but I feel like a loser.
I do let the kid yelled at the guy for dropping the turkey leg.
Well, and look, I had to drop something off down downtown Seattle by the market on Thanksgiving morning at 10 or 11. I could not believe all the Niners fans.
Yeah, they
You
traveled.
saw some Seahawks fans kind of walking around, and I get it. Look, that's a fun trip. You're going up to Seattle, a rival, and this and that. It's Thanksgiving, but I mean, they were everywhere. I was like, holy crap! This is because my cousin's a Niners fan. I called him. I said, this ain't going to be good for my Seahawks. It looks brutal out there.
Well, truth be told, they're a very good football team. And even as good as the Philadelphia Eagles are, I want to say the 49ers are traveling to Philadelphia to play in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is the underdog.
That's the game I want to see.
So that tells you.
I think you can go either way on that, man. I don't know.
Confidence in that team from
there is
the spread, everything else.
Yeah, look, they did have 2 or 3 losses, so I mean, they can be beat. And they didn't look that good. I'm still not so sold on Purdy just because he was the last guy drafted in that draft, and you still got to see a whole year of him playing quarterback. But you're right. When they get rolling, and especially if they're ahead, I just don't see that team losing.
No, and he says exactly what the game plan is. Get the ball into the hands of the guys that make plays. That's all I do.
Just get it out of my hands.
Yep.
That's it.
McCaffrey, here you go.
The Ravens have to play him too, man. So I'm watching everything they do, and I'm like, get to Purdy.
Debo. Well, that's look, that's the thing with the Seahawks too, right? You had last week where you lose to the Rams, and then you knew the Niners were coming up. Thursday night, you got the Cowboys again. I mean, it is just a gauntlet. You still got to play the Niners again.
Their schedule, I think the Seahawks, their next 3 games, I don't envy. To me, this is what your playoff schedule would be, right? Because you got the Cowboys, then you got the 49ers, and then who's next after that? It's someone else you don't want to deal with, and I cannot remember who it is.
It might be Philly, because I think
it might be Philly. Yeah, I'm just
still have to play Philly in that division. So it's just
Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles. I'm like, oh my God, guys, that again, it doesn't matter the team. Nobody wants that to be their next 3 games.
Also on Thanksgiving Day, Dolly Parton was out there in between the Cowboys and the Commanders game. Look, I have never wavered on my love of Dolly Parton, and it's just funny. I was not watching the game at this point. I'm cooking food. She obviously comes out at halftime dressed as a Cowboys cheerleader. Yeah. And I had 3 separate text threads that just said, I still would. Would you? And I just was like, yes, I've been saying this for years. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Right? Would she's 70-something? And she's Dolly Parton.
I love the interaction after the halftime show with Jim Nance and Tony Romo. And whoa, wait. Jim's like, yes, she did a very good job. And Tony's like, no, man, that was wow. In a cheerleader outfit, looking good and entertaining the crowd. And Jim Nance is just sitting there like, don't Brent Musburger yourself. Don't say anything. Don't say anything nice, because you can't do that.
Dolly's been on fire the last couple of weeks. The week before that, she came out and sang Rocky Top at a Tennessee football game down there in Neyland Stadium. So you have over 100,000 people. Obviously, if you're from Tennessee, everybody knows it. It's the fight song, and I'm pretty sure it's their state song.
They probably drowned her out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, because I think in the 60s, they made that the state song or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's just an awesome time, and pretty cool stuff there. Also, you know what? I talked to a lot of people. I grew up on the East Coast. It is so nice on the West Coast. 10 a.m., football's on.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, even I watched that whole Seahawks game. We had a little fun afterwards, and I feel like I was still home in my own house by 10-ish.
It's huge.
I like the Black Friday game, too.
All right, the Black Friday
the fact
game.
That there was one, just eating.
The fact that there was a game
college football.
Yes.
There was plenty of college, but the main games were on Saturday. There were some big games on Friday.
There were some big games on Friday, and I'll be honest with you, I completely forgot about that NFL game. I was like running errands. It's Black Friday, like doing some stuff, like going to meet other friends. We had to cook more stuff. I completely forgot that game was on. I just had it on college games, but
we forgot about it too. We ran some pre-Christmas errands, if you will, for the kids.
All right.
And then we stopped by the watering hole, right? Let's grab a drink. It was on. I'm like, oh God, that's right. There's an NFL game. And it played out the way I thought it would, but it was on.
Right. And then you get to Saturday and you got the Apple Cup. Whew. I was at a place, there were sub-Cougs, a lot of Washington fans. Man, what a game. Like, I was so happy the University of Washington won. Look, I'm a college whore. So if the Cougs were undefeated right now, I would have been covered in crimson. But the Huskies are really good. I bought a Husky shirt. Somebody gave me a Huskies hat. It matched up with my pants. So I was just like Mr. Husky. But it's like good for the Cougs. It was a good game. It was fun. It was exciting to watch. I was like, all right. We got this going. I also had to watch Maryland and Rutgers on my phone. I kept offering people, if anybody wants to check out this one.
I also feel like one loss in college football almost ruins your chances sometimes of having that shot at the national championship. Man. So they've come so far, being undefeated. That's the last thing you want to do. Is kick it at the end.
And the old adage in college football is you're going to lose. You've got to lose early. You got to lose a tough game in September or October.
And then look good the rest of the way.
Right. Now for the Huskies, things are going to get really tough because Friday night, you got to go down to Vegas. You got to play Oregon again in the Pac-12 championship. I believe Oregon opened up after Friday night. They absolutely destroyed, I think it was Oregon State.
Yeah.
That they're already
Civil War, whatever they call it.
They're already the favorites and this and that. So, I mean, the road ahead of the Huskies is still tough, but you're so close, right? You beat Oregon. You're playing in one of the semifinal games. And I think it'd be great for the area. It'd be good for the Huskies. Like, go get it.
When did they? Was it 89? When did they share the national championship?
92? They shared one in 91 with the University of Miami.
91.
But they didn't play straight up.
Right.
Okay. Right. So
it's been a while.
It has.
But most programs never make it to that game. So now
that is a strong point.
Obviously, everybody just spent a lot of time with family. So Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, they asked him about giving money to relatives. If they asked to borrow some, what would you do? And he said that it's often a bad idea when you mix family and money, but through much trial and error, he's come up with a strategy. Always gift, never loan.
Okay.
He says,
that way
I don't want to loan anybody money. I don't want anybody to owe me or to drive a wedge in my family. So instead, I'll agree to a one-time gift. For example, a family member asked for $150,000 to start a restaurant. I gave him $50,000 gift, and I never wanted it back.
That's a really nice gift.
Right. Now, obviously, you'd have to change these numbers to what normal people make and have.
Correct.
And what you're dealing with. He says there's two conditions. They can never ask him for more money, and they can never talk about the gift again. I did this with a friend who was having some trouble with, child support, this and that, and I helped him out twice. And the third time, I said, I will do anything to help you. No more money. And this was years ago. Somebody had told me years ago, hey, if you lend money to even a friend, you got to lend it anticipating it's not coming back.
That's why you call it a gift, and you feel better about it, right? If
right.
you call it a loan,
you're not going to get bitter.
Right.
Right. And that's before I heard that advice. And I said, I ran into this friend over the summer, and we had a few beverages and started to talk. I said, look, don't bring it up. I said, I don't anticipate you. You do not have to pay me back, but we're not going to sit around drunk and talk about it because it's awkward for both of us.
Right. That is fair. That is fair, man.
Right.
Let it go, man.
Right. I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this conversation either. It sucks for both of us. All right. Mike, I know you have. Have either of you two actually watched Squid Game yet?
I have not.
I have not, and it's kind of on my short list of things I'm going to plow through over the holiday.
Fair warning. If you watch the first Squid Game, you will go through it. And they're long. They're at least an hour long. I think some of them were like an hour 15. But it is so addicting, and you've got to find out what happens in the next episode.
That's my goal. That's why it's one of the ones, because I say, that's what I've heard from everyone. So I go, I can crush this over the holidays, because like that, one, I don't have to get up, right? So I know I can put 4 hours, I know it's 3 a.m. I got to know. It's all right then.
Is that the one that they said was kind of lost in translation on subtitles compared to the overdub?
Yeah, I've heard different opinions on whether you want to do the overdub or if I'm reading the subtitles, am I missing action?
I feel like I'm not paying attention if I'm just reading the subtitles.
At some point, you get
I think, honestly, I think in this show, when there is action, it can be very aggressive. So I would watch. I watched it dubbed over.
Okay.
And could deal with it. Like it didn't throw me off too much, but if you're reading subtitles, especially when they're playing some of the games, you might miss something.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to know.
And some of the stuff is so startling, you don't want to miss it.
All right. Okay.
So now there's the reality show Squid Game: The Challenge on Netflix. It follows closely Squid Game minus there's no actual killing, which is a good call.
That's strong.
So there's 456 contestants competing for $4.5 million. Well, this didn't take long. There's already 2 contestants who have who've lawyered up and are suing for onset injuries. They claim hypothermia and nerve damage as a result of poor safety standards on the set. Apparently, it was really cold during the filming of the first game. Contestants had to stand still for the red light, green light game, and I guess you'd say like they were standing there so long they were freezing. That game took up to 7 hours for some contestants to compete, and because the footage had to be examined frame by frame to spot who needed to be kicked out. A spokesman for the show says they haven't seen a lawsuit yet. The next 4 episodes come out on Wednesday, and the final airs a week after on December 6th. So, yeah, I mean, look, we made jokes about it. When they said, hey, we're going to make a reality game out of it. Once you see it, you understand what Squid Game is. It's like, I don't really think there's a way to make a reality show out of this unless people get hurt.
That was kind of my thought. Like, look, it's not okay that you got hurt. I get it. But you understood that you're playing this game, man.
That's like, you ever seen the show? I believe it's on Discovery Channel, just called Alone.
Yes.
Right, so they take people and drop them off in some really inhospitable places out in the wilderness. I had a buddy that tried out for it. He almost made it. But with that show, some of them are out there. You got to outlast the last person, right? So let's say the 4 of us went out there. So let's say, I don't know, Thrill and I, after a couple days, we're already out. Well, now it's just...
I think you're right.
Right. Now it's a matter of the 2 Boy Scouts and who can outlast each other. So you can either say, hey, I can't do this anymore, come get me. But that show, honestly... They got to, because you got to get your own food. You got to figure out how to attain food, how to cook it, how to eat it, what you're going to eat. So they have doctors come in sometimes and are just like, sorry, like if you stay out here another day, you could get seriously hurt. Like we've got to take you out of this competition. Okay. So that part I kind of
like a referee calling a boxing match.
Yeah,
exactly. There's a certain point where it's like, look, I know you're still throwing punches back, but your brain's been shut off here, fella.
Mm-hmm.
So that one I get. But Squid Game, I'm just like, I don't know. This seems like a crazy, wild idea. Also, it's been what, 4 years since that came out? Like, I keep forgetting that game's even on. I'm like,
wasn't that the most popular show ever on Netflix at the time?
I think it was.
I believe so, because it was massive in Asia where it originates, and then it gets over here, and it was one of those things. Like, Thrill will tell you in January after he finally watches it. There's only like 6 or 7 episodes, and if you get into it, you are going to cruise through. That is one of those ones where I sat up a couple nights like, screw it, I'll stay up to like 2. I've got to see what happens next. We started by talking about a little football. You got the Vikings hosting the Bears. I'll be honest with you, so confusing after this weekend. Is Fields still the quarterback in Chicago?
I don't know.
I don't know either. And I don't even know who the quarterback of the Vikings is anymore. Oh, Dobbs. Yeah, I'm just like, it's 2 teams from the...
Oh, Cleveland gave away twice. Here, take it.
I know.
They're doing okay. Don't get me wrong.
But over at ESPN, you got some Monday Night Football.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Hey, cat-loving couples dreaming of a proposal that includes your furry feline? Head on over to FelixPerfectProposal.com for a shot at winning over $4,000 for your dream ring and a special treat for your feline accomplice. Your engagement, your way. Let's make it happen together. Visit Felix, PURRFECT, Proposal.com to enter today. This contest is not being run in connection with the solicitation of or the marketing of an insurance product.
This holiday season, make your journey memorable with Travel Centers of America, where our motto is simple: return every traveler to the road better than they came. Avoid any hassle and stop at our one-stop shop for all your holiday travel needs. Fuel up, indulge in delicious snacks, and dine at one of our full-service restaurants. Hit the road with peace of mind knowing we've got you covered. For more info, go to ta-petro.com. Travel Centers of America, your road to happy travels.
Deep underground the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?
The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Happy holidays as a woman pulls down her pants mid-flight and pees in the aisle. Meanwhile, a dog drinks a half bottle of vodka, and the video of him will definitely make you smile. In Oregon, giant inflatable hamburger goes tumbling down the street. A family in North Carolina loses its home trying to deep fry some meat. And a Michigan man gives 5 women syphilis of the eyeball. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cock.
All right, our top story. We go down to Florida where clever cops found a wanted woman. After getting busted for not only selling fentanyl, she had violated her parole, but also she was wanted for, quote, unlawful use of a two-way communication device, which we talked about that earlier here on the program as I read through it. I don't know if that means that she grabbed if it was a CB radio, if it was a walkie-talkie, and she ended up on... Right. But they quoted that unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I think she tapped into a channel that she just
could be it.
Was told to get off of, and then she abused the privilege there. She also has a history of fraud, grand theft, and obtaining property by a worthless check, so police decided to pay her a visit. Upon first glance, she didn't appear to be inside of the home, but a lengthy search eventually found her hiding inside of her couch. Impressive. She was then taken into custody and charged. Have you guys ever ended up, quote unquote, trapped inside of the folded mattress of the couch?
I avoided it as a child.
No. Yeah, I mean, I remember we had a fold-out couch growing up, and that was always a giant fear.
Yeah.
Of getting trapped
all those
in there.
springs in the metal. I mean, it looked like the jaws of death.
And those beds are a lot more comfortable now.
They are, but we did that as kids.
You got trapped in there?
Well, trapped is not the right word, but there were 3 of us, and so we would end up, where that couch was. It was just downstairs with all of our other play stuff, and we just thought it would be a fun, stupid idea to lock us in that thing. And the thing is that with siblings, you can't be trusted because we do the same thing. We'd lock ourselves in the trunk, like we would purposely trap ourselves just for whatever, because we're stupid, we're kids, and then you get that quick moment of panic, like, are you guys going to get me the hell out of here? And then the problem is that now I could do it because I have 2 sisters, so I had the ability to actually pull the couch back up and out of the mattress back up and out of the couch to get them out.
Right.
I was a little bit heavier than my sisters, so it became kind of an issue when I was in there. There were a few freakouts from time to time, but good place to hide. In other news, over in North Carolina, where a family is lucky to be alive, 'tis the season for many an amateur to try their hand at cooking turkeys for their family in various ways, the most dangerous of which being via deep fryer, which I also hear is the best way to do it as far as taste goes.
Dude, I've had one, and it was tremendous.
It's really good.
I know that we did it one time, but I was too young to actually know the taste difference of the different turkeys. It was just, my dad was so stoked about the deep fryer that he had out in the back patio, right? But at this point in my life, I really want to try a deep fried turkey.
Dude, do it. It will change your life.
Anywho, that's what takes us to our man. His fryer was being used inside of his home. First mistake. And
Jeez whiz.
I know. Put that thing outside. What the hell? Even in your garage, put it outside.
Yeah. And he had the misfortune of having the propane tank igniting and exploding. It was not that it caught on fire, but the propane tank actually exploded. But how exactly did this propane tank ignite? You're right. The answer is dumber than you think, as the one doing the cooking literally fell asleep on the job, allowing the oil to boil over. So it did boil over, but didn't catch fire like you would normally believe, or at least that wasn't the big problem. It exploded the doggone propane tank. You fall asleep cooking on Thanksgiving. I get it. You're tired, and you'll probably be the first one to crash after dinner. But
if you're making a traditional baked turkey, I get it.
Sure.
But the deep fryer, it's about an hour, maybe.
Right.
But you got to stay awake for that. And he didn't.
Good job, man. Well done.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. You did it. Odd story out of Michigan. 5 cases of a rare disease have all been traced back to a single carrier. This one's just gross. The victims of the disease were all women that came into the hospital within a short time of each other, all complaining of some affliction with their eyes, which they discovered was an STD that was passed to all of them from the same guy that they had all slept with, leaving them all dealing with eye syphilis.
Oh, jeez, whiz.
That just
what are you doing in there?
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
he's got to move. He's got to move, and we know what it is.
He's got to move.
He does.
Oh, no.
I do the rhythm method.
Finish her. It only affects 1 to 5% of people dealing with neurosyphilis, which is a different one that it affects like the spinal cord and stuff like that, or in the brain, like whatnot. So syphilis is a wacky virus, dude. I have no idea what this thing. So I don't know that it's necessarily the move, Miles, but this does affect folks with the neurosyphilis.
I think of all 5 have eye syphilis.
Oh God!
I think Miles is right.
I know that would be one of my best kept secrets, that I had eye syphilis.
I mean, definitely go to the doctor. How do they figure out they'd all been with the same dude?
Oh, they figured it out through when they would go in, they asked about their sexual partners.
All right.
And they all brought this guy up.
Yep.
It's Eddie.
It was all in the same town in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Damn. Eddie.
Eddie Money.
Good call. We know what that is, right?
And anyway, it affects 1 to 5% of people dealing with neurosyphilis and can cause blurred or double vision, floaters, headache, sensitivity to light, and my favorite, eye pain or eye lesions.
God.
Yeah, enjoy that eye syphilis, ladies and gentlemen. Men's Room Sports. As Ted said, we got a little Monday Night Football over on ESPN, also on Channel 4. The Chicago Bears are in Minnesota taking on the Vikings with Josh Dobbs. That's on currently. We also got some basketball on for you. The Nuggets are in LA taking on the Clippers. It's over on NBA Network. And then we got some college men's basketball on over on the Pac-12 Network and ESPNU for your viewing pleasure. And that is it for your headlines and your sports. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time. Taryn Daly will join us. We'll sit and spin. Speaking of, the lovely Taryn Daly is up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Lovers, your local lingerie and adult store has gifts of pleasure for partners who know it's nice to be naughty. Turn up the heat this holiday when you shop at any Lovers store. Let our knowledgeable team help you select the best pleasure presents and save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow rewards. Just mention Love 20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow rewards membership until December 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Deep underground the Jelly Belly factory, BB is in her secret laboratory creating the weird and wild flavors of Bean Boozled.
I've done it again!
Is it pomegranate or old bandage? Dare to compare. Bean Boozled, 6th edition. Are you brave enough?